Live.
All right.
Maybe a little close.
Yeah, seems like it is. We'll find it.
What up, TascFamp? I see somebody's chilling. Hey, this is Mike from 44 Recording, and Jay from Operation Audio, from Hemisphere Studio.
Taking insurance,
Getting
industry
ready to
money,
chill
and
for
supporting
another live stream. I'm just gonna turn this fan down. Cool. Yeah, so we're just chilling again for another live stream. Oh, thanks, Jay. If you're watching the replay, you can always fast forward 1.5x or 2x. You'll definitely want to fast forward through this part where we're setting up.
Do we sound like Mickey Mouse when you play it at 1.5x?
I don't know. I think it's like vari speed. It kind of retains.
Compensates?
Yeah. I don't know how that works, but yeah, somehow it does that. So I think we're golden here. Yo, Matt. Hey, what's up? Hey, Matt. We got the Matts. Matt attack.
All the mats.
Chilling. Pop out. I can leave it there. Make sure this is going. Looks good. Looks good. We got the sounds. Very cool. Dude, so I haven't really been drinking coffee, and I made some today, like French press style, and I'm like fucking jittery as shit. So hopefully we balance each other out, because I know you were like a little tired today.
Oh, I'm shot.
Jay went to the buffet.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that? You got some sushi? Plate of sushi. What was your second plate?
Mini egg rolls, crab imperial, Chinese cabbage.
Oh wow.
Cheese crab rangoons.
Crab
little
rangoon,
cheese
yeah.
wonton things.
Yeah.
A vegetable and pork dumpling.
Huh.
What else is on there? It was just little bits
You
of
went
shit.
all out, man.
A little bit of sesame chicken.
Wow. So it was mostly. Is it an Asian buffet, or do you just went?
It is an Asian buffet, but they also have like I said, like pizza and mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes and fucking fish, like salmon and stuff.
Yeah. Matt, we just opened it up, and I had Jay sign it. I was just telling him about how I sent you the picture today, and you were like, "Jay didn't sign it." So
I drew
had
a fucking penis inside it.
Yeah,
how much more of a Jesus?
He drew that big wang in there, and
That was a 2 a.m. or so artistic splurge or whatever right there. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome. I'm glad we got that. I had a whole stack of stuff for Jay to sign when he came over today.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did. After walking in the door, and I'm sure saying a couple of bad words, then I signed things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Travis, what's up, my friend?
What up, Travis?
Good to see you. I was just for the. So sorry if this I think it
Froze the stream.
hopefully, it's
Nope,
back.
there it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's the first time I've gotten a phone call I think ever whilst doing the stream. So if you just called in on the live stream, sorry, but my phone is
Call-ins on the live stream. Don't do that.
No, I'm not going to tell people how they can figure out how to call, because
Man.
the number is somewhere though. I shouldn't even be saying that, but I just did. Anyway, so yeah, Matt said an artist must always sign his art. But yeah, Travis, I was thinking about you today because I was writing down everybody's. Names for the TascFamp info sheet. Oh, I think it was Mike Jacobs. It said, "Hey Mike, it's Mike. Give me a call." All right. I don't know. I'm assuming Mike Jacobs. We'll see. Anyway. Is he in the area? He can come on the stream. Yeah, so Travis, I was thinking about you today, my friend. And it's good to see you. It's funny. It's like very ironic, I guess, that you came through tonight, given that story. So good to see you. Yeah, we're getting ready to ship those puppies out. And thank you to everybody who obviously donated to help the cause and everything. That was really sweet. And Yeah, it's really exciting, man. Like it doesn't feel like it's done, but it's there. We did it.
Doesn't feel like it's done because it's still sitting in your living room.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of like I was telling Jay, been feeling a little burnt out lately, so I don't know. Been trying to like do other stuff and get outside more and a little. I don't know. Excited for the fall, but now today again it was like fucking gross out.
Yep.
I don't know. But yeah, those things are going to be out of here ASAP, so get ready. I was just boxing them all up today. As you can see in the thumbnail, that's the wall. Just another TascFamp in the wall. But yeah, so those are going to be rolling out of here very shortly. So you guys have been here and seen the whole full circle project. So Travis said, I got the new new studio cement slab ready to rebar tomorrow. Should have poured it hopefully next week. Awesome. That's exciting. Man, I wish I was building a studio. You already built one.
Yeah.
The Surfer Wang Safari turned out better than I could have ever imagined. A true Picasso magnifique. It's all this guy right here. Jay's flexing his artistic muscle on that.
Oh man. I'm not a sketch artist at all, but you know, whatever. I draw abstracts and evidently stick figure people in odd palm trees now.
Yeah. Very weird. Talk to me in 6 months when I'm still drywalling.
Yeah.
Hey, Twin, what up, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, that sounds like a big project. Are you gonna finish it by the winter?
He'll have his work cut out for him too, because I'm sure the acoustician is not letting you get away with all too many flat and square surfaces. So there's all kinds of odd angles to tape and weird fucking treatment options that are going in, I'm sure.
Sending out a I don't know who that
SOS?
is. I'm assuming, yeah, sending out an SOS. It's the stream gets flagged for that.
Oh, God.
Remember that when we played that song and it was like,
Yeah.
and then we were like driving to get sandwiches and I got like an email that was like, I think it's Mike Jacobs that's on the podcast this week. He could come. I should say come through. Got a show. Oh. Cool tonight. Sorry, I'm kind of doing two things right here, but I just was wondering. It's so random that I A, get a phone call from somebody I actually know, and then B, when it happens during the live stream. So I'm kind of taking off guard here.
Travis, does he have you building all kinds of weird traps and shit though, or is it just the 2-degree splay kind of construction? Oh, cool.
See if Mike will come to the stream. Man, I remember that. I used to like send out people, my buddies, to see if they'd come. Mark Neal. Oh, cool. It'll look like a classic 60s. Nice. Oh, winter. That makes sense. Twin, dirty mind, man.
The classic 60s design, like the Sound City style, where you just put varying thicknesses of acoustic tiles stuck to shit and hang clouds.
I think that's the funniest thing about that whole Sound City thing, you know, like the story about how nobody really knows why it sounds the way it does.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the control room used to sound like shit. It was a big hollow cave above it. There was nothing up there.
Huh. What's going on with that building now? Because you were there for the re-grand opening.
Yeah, they had another re-grand opening party after that one, and then, I don't know, then somebody else took it over because the guy who was in charge at that point decided he wasn't spending any more money on equipping it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sound City
awesome.
Studio B. Travis, did you catch my my drum video when I was playing drums in that room?
Yeah, that was fucking cool.
It's on my Instagram if you haven't seen it.
At Operation Audio.
That's definitely a cool drum room.
You know, it's funny. I was watching Boogie Nights the other night.
Yeah.
There's a scene where they're in Sound City.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I never I don't know. I feel like the last time I saw that was a while ago, and I didn't realize they were actually
put it
there.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
That movie's great, man. So
I wouldn't have pictured that being a Parish family movie for some reason. I'm not sure.
Parish family movie night. Boogie Nights, baby. That movie's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Sad in a lot of ways, but hilarious at the same time. I think that's life.
Sad in a lot of ways, but also a fair glimpse probably into the reality of that industry even through modern day.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Mike's here. Hey, Mike. Noisemonger. Mike Jacobs is in the house. He's going to be on the podcast tomorrow. We recorded a podcast last week. So everybody say hi to Mike. He's Noisemonger.
What up, Mike?
And he'll be on the podcast tomorrow if you want to check out a cool interview. It's about giving up. It's a really good one. Really good episode. And last week I had Sean Paul Pillsworth, another cool dude. He came through and chatted it up. So if you're sleeping on that podcast, don't sleep on the podcast. There's some good stuff on there. So don't sleep on it. Hey, Mike. Yeah. So Mike's. I guess he wants me to be in his band. He's saying they need a rhythm guitarist. That's cool. A lot of emotion. Yeah, it was a pretty serious talk. I was just listening back to it before Jay came through, getting ready for tomorrow, and it's a good one though. It seems like it's more of an interview. Like somehow, it's more of Michael interviewing me, which I don't know how that happened, but it's a good one.
I think that's the same guy that was like yelling back in my face at My Place Pizza, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was a fun show.
Yeah, dude. I think Mike is a really good dude. He's super.
We need more people with that kind of enthusiasm at shows.
Seriously, man.
Makes bands want to do it.
Yeah, and it's like Mike just has this certain energy that's like it feels good to be around him. I don't know what it is. So Mike, thanks for stopping through. You're a true American band hero. That makes any sense.
Oh, man.
He said Jay rules. Nice. Some mutual love going on. Awesome. Yeah. So Mike has a band too. They're looking for a drummer to fill in this weekend. I don't know.
Yeah.
I told them to contact you though, because like Jay's a fucking phenomenal drummer. He can just pick up anything.
I don't know if I go that fucking far, but
they're doing like punk, like old school punk covers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like something that would be up your alley.
Yeah.
I think they're looking for a guitar player too, so we could technically.
Yeah, I don't know about this weekend, but that's
yeah,
a little on the.
Maybe jam at some point.
On the short, yeah.
Maybe we'll jam, like. Yeah, totally for fun. Yeah.
Where are you playing at? Is it like a My Place show or?
Oh, he said Food Stock? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. I did just hear that there's a new venue opening in Kingston that's going to cater to heavier music.
Really?
Oh, the Chance. That's cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some of the other guys in his band have some connections there. Chance.
I was looking to try to get a show put together for November. A friend of mine has a band from Brooklyn that's playing Montreal on a Friday, and on the way back down, they were trying to get something together with us.
That's awesome. Is that
so I hit up BSP. BSP can't do it, but he gave me the contact for this new spot called Tubby's that's opening up in the old Broadway Joe's in Kingston. They're evidently going to be doing more punk, grunge, and heavy stuff. They renovated the spot, and evidently it's pretty cool.
Whoa.
Corey Plump would be the guy to get a hold of there. He used to be in a band called Spray Paint.
So you heard it here, folks. First, folks, anybody's in a punk, hardcore, heavier band in the New York State, tri-state area looking for a show, Tubby's, new spot in Kingston.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see how that develops. I'll definitely want to check it out if you guys are going to play. Or
I don't know if we are. I got to reach out to that guy. But
So is that the place that has the old like Blues Brothers
yes.
and like Marilyn Monroe? Yep. That's cool.
Yep.
I hope they keep those up there. They have these old statues.
Sort of down like near UPAC and stuff.
Yeah, like Midtown, right?
Yeah.
They're like What are they're like ceramic or what are those statues?
Probably
Glass?
fiberglass.
Yeah, fiberglass. Like there's like a couple Blues Brothers, Elvis, I think
Yeah,
Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe's up there.
But that's yeah, I always like
Yep.
see that going by. I'm glad that somebody's doing something. That's a cool. It seems like a great location, great spot, and I don't know. That's always the first thing that moves in. I think is artistic stuff. So
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
what
I'm gonna
happens.
reach out to him in the next couple days and see. So.
cool. That's exciting.
And the band that we're looking at playing with is the Minutes out of Brooklyn.
The Minutes. Oh.
The Minutes.
For some reason, I almost thought it was going to be the guy that mastered your stuff. I always
Tad?
forget his name. No, from the other.
Oh, Place to Bury Strangers.
Yeah. But maybe they were looking.
No, they're gonna be in like Belgium or some shit.
Oh fuck. Okay. When you said Brooklyn, and then I for some reason.
Yeah, no, this is So there was a song for the Walking Bombs project that a bass player came up from Brooklyn. She and I wrote the song. We had 2 hours to write it and record it before she had to leave to go back to Brooklyn. So we literally ran 2 passes of it once we had the arrangement, and the first pass is what went out. But since then, she's stayed in touch, and we've been trying to figure out a way to get the bands together.
That's awesome.
So
she's in Minutes, I take.
She is. She's in a couple things.
Cool. Whatever happened with that project? Did you get any more playing out with Walking Bombs, or I saw there was
Morgan
a show,
himself has done a few things.
like acoustic or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. He's been writing. We worked on a couple new things, but
That's right. Yeah, that was a good session.
I think the output was fairly good for what time we had to do it, and the way that stuff always works is it kind of starts as just a really rough idea in his mind, and then we have to figure out how to make it work. Whatever.
Travis asks, "Have you ever gone to a show
Yes.
at the old?" Yeah, me too.
Yep.
I went to a couple. Like
Yep,
I used
same.
to live when I lived down there in like 2010.
I was the idiot that had to drive 2.5 fucking hours to go there, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a good spot. I think I saw the Babies there. It's looking kind of like a punk rock band, I guess.
Yeah.
This guy I knew from. Well, I didn't. Yeah, he's in
Oh yeah, the spot was dope. It was
the Insurgent. Yeah. Oh
the
yeah, that was a cool spot.
It was a rat hole, but it was really like super cool. The vibes there were really, really good, man. Like everybody was just super chill and there to like fuck shit up and have a good time.
Yeah, and that was there like when it was still warehouse, run home at night kind of vibe,
Oh, it wasn't that bad when we were going, but like the Place to Bury Strangers show I saw there, like I made the mistake before they came on of going out to have a cigarette. I couldn't even get back into the room. I listened to the show from the entry hallway.
Oh my god, yeah.
I couldn't.
That
It was
place
so
gets
fucking
packed,
so full.
yeah.
You couldn't even squeeze in.
That's cool. Where
It was sort of like a hipster punk clubhouse, though, not like studs and spikes and mohawks and all that kind of stuff. It's more like these like new Brooklyn semi-radicals who are doing like the underground sort of bubbly underpinning thing. They're just on the cusp of being something popular, but either too aloof or too resistant to actually let it happen. So that's what DBA really was. But it was run by a great group of people, though, and Oliver Ackerman, who runs Death by Audio Effects and also fronts that A Place to Bury Strangers. Super chill dude. Like he's a Virginia boy, so like I don't know if you've ever hung out with people from Virginia, but everybody I've met from there, like I had some friends in Charlottesville and shit.
Yeah.
They're all like, man, like
super fucking chill.
Doesn't matter what's going on. They're like super excited to just fucking hang out and like go to Taco Bell and like talk to you about like nothing real important. Just just
no
glad
airs,
for the
no
companies.
airs, yeah.
Glad for the company. Yeah.
Very cool.
This is some of the shit that.
Any ironic mustache. This is the one you guys wrote?
Sort of. just did a whole bunch of feedback on it. He played trombone on it. There's bass and drums
This is
and
some of the shit that
vocals.
Cool. Wow, that's how far the stream is delayed, huh? This is on the latest one?
This is like 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
This is still waiting on guests.
Reminds me of cows, nice. Oh, hey, Daniel. Welcome to the stream, Daniel. You said, but they said Glasslands and 285 Ken also closed down.
Glasslands is awesome too.
Are all the venues from that area now just like, I mean, from that era gone now?
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of the ones that I used to go to see shows at, and then that I knew the names of are all done. There was a cool spot. It was named after one of the. It was named after. Okay, Mike. Well, hold on. It was named after one of the. Oh my God! What are the like Slaughterhouse Five? What are those? What's that guy's name? I can't think of his name. Slaughterhouse Five author. I can't think of his name.
I don't know.
Super popular author. 70s, I guess.
I don't read.
Somebody junior. I can't think of his name. I guess this is embarrassing. I don't know. Anyway, there was a venue that had the name of one of those. Goodbye Blue Monday. That place was chill. Brewer Falls. That was a cool spot. That one closed down a while ago. A lot of those places are all just
The casualties in the
old silent
DIY fire
ones, but they're around, but-
was out in San Francisco. The ghost ship.
Oh yeah.
And that was the biggest one I've heard of to date.
I remember that was also, yeah, like that
That
was.
place was fucking dope though.
It looks cool, yeah. I mean, it seemed unsafe, but yeah, it looked fucking
And
sick.
of course it was. I mean,
Yeah.
all those spaces are
Yeah.
fucking. Death by Audio had like a fucking cargo net, like from a ship that went from the floor of the kitchen to the loft, and then it just went up to the ceiling at the other end of the
that's
room,
right.
and like
Yeah.
there'd be motherfuckers in there like sleeping and shit. That's just
Yeah.
nailed to the ceiling. You don't know
Right.
what's holding that there.
Yeah,
You're
you
just
don't know what
sleeping in that.
the weight of that thing
Yeah,
is.
you're just laying in that thing. Yo, so check the chorus of this out.
There
real quick,
were a
though.
lot of stuff that because I know that there was a lot of places. I remember after that, not to cut you off, Jay, but like the mass shutdown of DIY spaces.
yeah.
I remember there was like.
I got
It
you.
almost seems like they were really hunting for them after that. Like
Oh, they were.
authorities and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
And they
yeah.
were like,
Yeah.
and they always kind of did that.
But the
stuff,
thing that killed most of the Brooklyn ones wasn't the authorities. What
No.
killed them was the real estate boom.
yeah.
Which is what kills, I mean, art spaces globally, really. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, that's like I'm thinking about. I mean, we mentioned that place Tubby's, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's possible in 10 years, like if Kingston is fucking popping off, that place could be.
It's very possible that the guy who is reopening that is somebody who's already on the cusp of that thing, though.
Oh, okay.
Because he's a new face to Kingston.
Gotcha.
So he's most likely, now it's speculative, but he's most likely some kind of player in whatever that game is
Whatever is
already.
going on in that.
So
yeah.
if he builds a thing up, he might be good to go because he's already sort of
That's
working
kind of
from
his
the inside.
investment, Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it comes down to money and space. Like
All of it fucking comes down to
a
money.
lot of the Brooklyn stuff was, North Streets, South Streets, is all cheap warehouse. Well, not cheap, but it was all warehouse industrial spots.
Travis, that's why I
Yeah, priced
intend to
out.
keep my little weird building in the middle of nowhere too, because there's nobody coming for that real estate.
Oh, Jeremy, what's up?
This is check out the chorus of this song though. We ran this fucking song 2 times, and this is the. That was it.
That sounds like Sabbath or something. That sounds like Sabbath or something.
Let me shut that right
You heard
down.
of Cell 63?
Yeah.
You guys played with them. Probably,
Yeah, we
right?
played with Cell 63, yeah.
Mike was asking.
That guy brews
they're still
fucking...
playing.
That guy brews some badass coffee, too. Jeff, I think his name is, from Cell 63.
You fix something up for him or something?
No, he used to he used to roast the coffee that People's Cauldron was selling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really fucking good. I actually got to get a hold of him. I really would like to get some more of that coffee. It's good shit. Do I own the place? I don't, but my parents do, and the plot of land that it's connected to, though it's been subdivided, also belongs to family, so that place will be there basically indefinitely.
Yeah. Because they were going to build a house there, right?
They were, and there's been a couple times in the last few years where the discussion was about me taking that property over in title also, but so far that's not materialized.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and you were kind of saying like that's what's awesome is you have the support of your family with that spot, because you were saying like you probably wouldn't be able to have a space, right?
Yeah, I mean I feel like
that's how I feel. Like I want to get a spot, but I don't have family in this area, and then also it's just fucking expensive, man. Like,
it is.
I was looking at like especially New Paltz stuff. I was looking for office space, even just office space is like.
Although that space doesn't cost me anything, you know, I also do.
You got like the utilities.
You know, like I cut their grass, and I like, you know, plow the snow at my parents' house, and a bunch of shit I don't really have to do, but that's sort of my way of like making the trade, even though there's no agreement, and it's just sort of nobody else was fucking using it, so here I am.
It's a great space, man. It's really cool.
I mean,
you got the workshop down there too, like
it really could be a better space, but it for what it is, it does adequately.
I think it's cool that you have access to that space, you know, like a lot of people don't have access to stuff like that, and for any number of reasons, you know, it's like that's like a great thing to be grateful for, man. That's fucking sick.
Oh, I'm not mad at it, believe me.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't. I wasn't insinuating or saying that. I was just saying like that's fucking sick, man. It's cool that you got that spot, like, because the prospect of getting something around here, it's like the Goldilocks thing we're talking about, you know. It's like it needs to be secure, it needs to be climate controlled, it needs to be like safe. I already said secure. It needs to be, you know.
Well, safe
where you can make a lot of noise.
Safe and secure are not necessarily mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's kind of
because the building could be secure while the surrounding area could be a fucking war zone, and it's no better for it. You know, so the other night I had the Irish band coming up, but I was running early and they were running late, so I wrote a song real quick.
Oh, dope.
And recorded it, and he put down a bagpipe chanter and did some like scratch vocals over it after he left with it.
Yeah. So you like kind of showed it to those guys?
I just sent them home with it just to fuck around with it. I was playing with the capo on in the tuning I use for bagpipes, so. I think the chorus is right here.
Nice bagpipes. Mike said, so what about a rock show party at a warehouse? I might have a connection. Yeah, man, let's do it. Fuck it. Fuck it, bro. Oh, yeah. Jeremy asked, any damage from the storm, Jeremy? How's that going? Jeremy asked, any damage from
I gotta always remember to turn my media down, or there's just some weird shit that happens.
Yeah, some weird like reverberation or repeating.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Mike, let's do it, man.
That,
Mike, where are you right now? Are you in Poughkeepsie?
that bagpipe's actually Alternative Ulster. I don't know if you're familiar with those guys, either the first incarnation or the more recent one, but that's John from that band playing on that. And but that's just an electronic. The electronic chanter is much more difficult to work with and sounds most unrealistic in real life. But
Oh, are you inland, Jeremy? Oh no, it's all on the East Coast with the water. Oh yeah, you're inland, yeah. Because I have family that's in down that area too. Glad to hear you made out all right.
what about a rock show party at a warehouse? I might have a connection. Where are you thinking, that spot in Beacon?
Yeah, that's good. Probably a little more insulated there. Electronic Chanter, Mike's next EP. Oh, all right, let's do it. Fuck it.
The electronic chanter, though, if you haven't ever seen one, looks like an overgrown electronic cigarette. It's probably like this long, about that big around. It's got like a 1/8-inch jack in the bottom. That's your headphone out. And I think there's like extra buttons on the back, on the bottom, that do volume or something, and everything else is just the chanter keys.
Huh.
It's very odd.
Weird. How much are those?
I don't know. I think you got that off of Amazon. I'm not sure how much they cost though. Oh, Lake George.
Lake George, huh?
I know there's one in Beacon, and there's also the warehouse, which is a little bit more commercial, down in Newburgh too.
Oh yeah, that's a cool spot. I really liked playing there the few times I have had the opportunity to.
But the one in Beacon, I'm forgetting the name of. It's got kind of like a theatrical name.
Beacon is fucking. I haven't been there in years, man. I drove through there the other day. Holy fuck!
I was down there just a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Holy shit, that's
Some
crazy.
different shit now. Yeah.
Yeah, jeez, man. I guess I was there a couple years ago, but even now, like even just a couple years later, it's like
You can go get that custom 200 combo or head and cabinet set up. I saw, man. I'm still hoping somebody I know goes and scoops that.
I'm looking at just fucking get rid of as much shit as I can at this point. I've kind of given up on, like, I don't know, not having like a huge space, but I just have no reason to have these amps anymore, you know? Even my Super is just fucking sits in my closet now. It's like, I mean, I don't really plan on doing much shows anymore, man. No desire anymore. It's kind of a weird, I think Mike and I were talking about it a little bit, about giving up, but it was a positive conversation. I don't know, man. I just have like too much shit, like not using it. Yeah, I should keep that. I know. Thanks, Twin. It really does sound good. Oh, Aaron, what's going on? Good to see you. Oh, okay, you're a bass player. Cool. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's how I look at it too, man. Like with all these like old amps that I have, and it's an investment, you know. Like the one I got it for like dirt cheap. It needed a lot of work, but that's the thing. Like I got it originally with the intention of just fixing it up and selling it to somebody who would appreciate it. You know? Yeah. Get my money out of it, make a little money on it, and then I was like, this thing's fucking sick. You know, I really liked it. I just fucking I get into these moods, man. Just like I hate having shit sitting around that I'm not using. You know, it's frustrating for me.
I started pulling stuff out of the closet to sell, and I found a home for that Unibox I've got.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got to just put tube sockets in it.
The one that you used for the show in Newburgh, I think?
No, that was the U65RN. That one I'm keeping because it's little. The U1226. It's a 60-watt head.
Oh, wow.
It's got trem and reverb in it.
Dope, man.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
The guy who gave me that bag of shit that had that rainbow cleaning solution in it.
Yeah.
That guy.
Cool.
He's buying it. He had one when he was a kid, and he was telling me in conversation when he gave me that bag of stuff how much he'd love to find one. And I said, man, I got one of those. Let me send you pictures of it.
Nice. Dude, that's awesome.
I sent him pictures of it, and he's like, man, I gotta have it. How much do you need for it? I'm like, well, yeah.
Cool,
so,
man. That's sick.
We got a number that we're settled on.
I think that's always like, I think that's what it is, right? It's like, I just want to, I like facilitating and being the person that like helps people get to where they want to go, I guess, you know, or like put things in people's hands that are actually going to use it rather than, because like I just feel like there's so much untapped potential in like gear and resources, and it's like sometimes it's just like if the right people had what they needed to do what they wanted to do. You know?
Yeah,
if there was
I like
somebody
gear.
who wanted like the super reverb that was like gigging and, you know, loved the sound of it and needed it, and it's like I would totally, you know, figure out a way to get it to that person and everybody happy.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know. I guess that's what it is, man. It's like, I mean, you know how I am too. Like I just don't have a lot of shit, so I'm kind of like,
yeah.
when I have anything that's sitting around, it just fucking it like grates on me. I don't know if that's like normal, if I'm like obsessive or whatever, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wish I had a space to like keep shit at, but then it's
I
like,
think if you scratch the surface deep enough, everybody's got a diagnosis, so I wouldn't worry too much
oh
about
yeah,
that.
I'm not. I kind of said that half jokingly, half serious, but
I think you sort of have like you're like the accidental minimalist. Like you didn't do it on purpose; it just ended up that way.
Yeah. A lot of it too just comes from family shit, you know. It's like
I feel like most of the things that like exist within this house would like fit in my living room, though. You know, like yeah.
I still feel like I have too much shit too. I just like I don't know, man. Like when my physical space is out of whack, like I just feel fucking out of whack, you know. It's weird.
That's how I feel when my pile of tools in my work area is like not condensed.
Right. There's something to that, man. There's that book, Marie Kondo. I think that's her name. And she's like a Japanese
Feng shui.
Yeah, like Japanese feng shui, or like a it's like what is that called? Like efficiency, space efficiency. And her thing is, if you pick something up and it doesn't bring you joy, like get rid of it. Like you want to surround yourself with all things that bring you joy. So if like you pick up like an old basketball and you're like don't feel anything, fucking chuck it. Give it to somebody who will use it.
You know those scenes in like Bruce Almighty and shit where he's like just standing and there's like the floor on the background and everything's white? He's just like a dude standing in white. That's what my life would be like if I got rid of everything that didn't bring me joy.
I think that's the idea, you know? Because then you can...
That's scary.
You can, like... Because, like, I feel like all this stuff right here that I'm looking at, like, obviously my 4-track brings me joy, my computer brings me joy, my microphone does, my preamp, like, this table my friend Bill gave me, like... I don't know, like when you have these things around you that are things you want to use and things that give you like a positive energy, it just energizes your life. It's like people too, man. It's like if you're around people that like give you a bad vibe or like make you feel like shit or just like negative D-bags, it's like those are probably not people to, you know, slowly, you know, distance yourself from, because they're just gonna fucking...
It's not even slowly, like you get one shot and then you can miss me with that shit for like the rest of forever.
Yeah, right.
I'm not having it.
I just took me a long time to realize that all that shit.
What do you think of high watt 50 watt amps? I think high watt 50s can be pretty sweet. Depends on the material you're playing and what you're doing in front of it and what the guitar is. If you're looking for one, just I serviced it, cleaned it up and serviced it. Came from an estate, and it's still hanging out because I can't afford to buy it.
Yeah, Travis. If I were smart, I'd rock a laptop and some speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you, I mean, you seem to enjoy the tape and you know, your studio is based around. I know like a big part of it's based around like tape recording. That's fucking sick. Like that seems to, you know, based on like Instagram and stuff. Like, and what I know about you, it seems to bring you a lot of joy, man. So.
Tree Man, I think the answer to your question is that.
Digital is greater than tape is greater than digital?
No.
Oh.
They're asking if going from digital to tape and back to digital versus going from tape to digital, which would be the preference? I would say the latter. Track it all on tape, get all that saturation stuff, get all the happy, you know, sonic accidents that you can get out of tape, and then dump it to digital to edit and mix it if you're really so inclined. Yeah.
Yeah, Travis tape to digital all day. Yeah.
Tape dumps.
Yeah, I mean that's even people use these cassette machines now. I get people emailing me, and you know, a lot of like, I guess like dance people.
I second that emotion.
Yeah, they want to use these. They impart like that lo-fi cassette vibe to it. You know, it's the same idea. Yeah.
What they should have done was just bought a fucking TascFamp.
Yeah. Missed the boat on that one.
Damn. Aww.
Nice plug. Nice plug. Yeah, so if you're new to the stream,
should have got a TascFamp.
Jay built these TascFamps, and they're basically you know, the cassette 4-track preamps, man. That 90s lo-fi gritty preamp. So yeah, fuck yeah, you can dirty your signal up all you want with that thing. But yeah, hope that answers your question, Tree Man. Thanks for coming through the stream. Thanks for asking a question. Appreciate you. Got Famps.
Got Famps.
That's gonna be our new campaign.
Where's the Famp?
Matt brings up a good point. I'm always buying and selling pedals. I want to try something. I gotta sell something at least. That's good. Yeah, keep it a revolving door. That's kind of where I got to too. Try to get stuff used. I see a guy that has a bunch of used stuff sale locally. I was thinking about getting it and trying it out and using it and moving it along. Reverb is great. eBay is great, and because in that sense you always have to have like a pool of money that's like invested in stuff. But like if you buy a pedal that's $100 and get it used for $50, most likely you'll be able to use that as long as you want and then pass it along for $50. So kind of a zero-sum game, which is good in this sense.
LA versus New York rock scene. New York all day. LA comes.
Is that like right now?
I don't know. I think that's a generalization, but to me, LA has always come with a whole bunch of pretentious hair and makeup and bullshit that you don't get in New York.
Yeah, I think New York's a lot grittier.
It's full of real people trying to get shit happening. LA is full of a lot of businesses trying to create things. Yeah.
I don't know if New York is
Mike, really the pedal's like going so well, his shit is gone.
Yeah, it's gone, Mikey.
Yeah.
We may have a couple left over, but I got to reach out to some of the waitlisters, see what up. But they're basically spoken for at this point.
See, I'm the opposite of all you guys. Like you all like sell something when you buy something new. I squirrel all that shit away until I'm broke. Then I fucking sell it. I sell it all. Sell every piece of it. I don't need this anymore. I haven't used that in 5 years.
Yeah, you have
brand new in the box with a fucking trading card.
Dude, your attic space, like your storage space, it's one of those spaces like.
Well, that's thinned down too. You're not even seeing it like
it's like, but it's like one of those things like when you just get a peek, you want to like dig around in there, and be like, what has he got in here? It's like one of those type of spots.
Oh, there's pedals and little pad mixers.
Like a kid in a toy store or something.
Drums.
It's like, it's just like that thrill of the search. I was talking with Jason recently, one of my patrons, and he was saying like, you know, he's been going to thrift stores and he got this awesome like Silvertone for $40. It's like this acoustic, and I was talking to him a little bit about like thrift stores and like how I used to like going to them and how I don't like to go to them as much. But like I guess the point is like the thrill of the hunt, right? It's like, you know, with Reverb and eBay and Craigslist, you can kind of know what's out there by searching, but like thrift stores, I feel like still hold that element of mystery that's lacking in our world today, due in large part to the internet. So it's like, that's how I feel at Jay's when I'm like up at his place and I see like behind the curtain or in the attic space, he's got like this storage space. I'm like, what is in there? What does this guy got? It's like the thrill of the hunt, the mystery of, I mean, you probably know everything that's in there and you're like,
yeah, you know, every once in a while I'll be looking for something like not in there and I'm like, man, I fucking wonder if that's in there. And then I go in there and I find 5 things I forgot I had. But
yeah,
for the most part, what's in there is in there because nobody will buy it and I don't have a use for it.
I don't know though, man. Even with Reverb, like you haven't had luck with it.
I mean, I've thinned out some of what's in there with Reverb. I've thinned out a whole lot more of it with the landfill. those closets used to be full of cabinets. I just ripped all the drivers out and saved the hardware and fucking threw them off the deck.
Yeah.
Put them in the truck and. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I remember thinking of Brooklyn music scene or whatever. What's that store?
What up, Bean Trees?
Oh, hey, Bean
Which
Trees.
one? Main Drag?
Yeah, like I remember one time they were having it was like, they had a bunch of cabs outside. Or
Like the fire sale and
yeah,
shit?
Yeah, it's like, any cab, $100.
Yeah.
Like, especially in Brooklyn, man, like I can't picture anybody, unless you're like a venue backlining. Like, I can't picture anybody. I mean, even around here, it's like I see guys doing it. I'm like, okay, that's what you want to do. You're playing like Snuggs Harbor, which is a fucking like, 15 feet across place, 20 feet across. Like, you don't need fucking huge amps, but it's just fallen out of favor. It's like, but it's just funny because those used to be so in. Do you think that'll ever come around? What do you guys think? Like, you think like big cabs and things will come back around? It kind of seems like the technology's gotten better. Most places have a pretty good PA system. I don't know. I'm not trying to knock anybody that's into that, but I mean, you obviously didn't future-proof it. You're like, fuck it, I'm never going to use this shit.
Well, what shit? What do you mean? Cabinets?
Cabs, yeah.
Oh, fuck those cabinets. Some of those cabinets I've been dragging around since I was in high school. Fuck those things.
That's my point about stuff. It's like, there comes a point in time where your stuff becomes very grating on you, and it kind of defines
who
you are.
What it really becomes is like,
energy.
How much of your allotted space do you want filled with shit, and how much of it would you like to be able to use?
Yeah.
Both the space and the gear that's hiding in it, in some corner of it. Like, if it's hiding in the back of a closet, good chance even if you wanted to use it, it's going to take so long to get it out that you're not going to bother. And things like cabinets, like I had a bunch of 412, giant ass 412 and 115 cabs.
Those too, yeah.
Fucking nobody wants that shit, man. Like, you can't give it away.
Like Main Drag, even $100. They got all these like different cabs out there. It's like,
I tried that. I was trying to sell those 412s and 115s like that. Yo, $50, come get it. I'll bring it to you.
Yeah.
No.
What's like those huge PA speakers you have too? You were like thinking about donating.
I want to get rid of those too, yeah. But I can't find anybody to buy them. As it was, I was probably a sucker buying them in the first place. I paid $200 for those. I mean,
Well, yeah. I mean, I think
that guy, I'm sure, sold them to me and was happy to do it because he couldn't get rid of them anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I think if you have a venue, if you have a practice space, if you're backlining a place, I don't know, because like even my buddy Tapro has like a whole PA set up, and he recently just got one of those towers. A couple of years, maybe last year. One of those big. You ever see those now? There's these new PA setups where it's like literally
the Bose column.
Yeah. He got one of those. And it's like he used to have like this huge PV setup. He had like a PV head. He had like these huge PA speakers, and it's just like, I don't know, technology, but also I don't know.
Those Bose things have been around for a while, and they're. If I was looking to mix something heavy, rock wise, with instruments running through it, I don't think that would be my choice.
He is an acoustic rocker, yeah.
I've seen rock and metal shows happen with those, but they're underwhelming. They just don't have the balls.
Yeah.
And in an environment like that, you need, good mid cabs and good top cabs, and you need something carrying the low. But in a smaller setting, it makes zero sense to have these giant like 115 or 215, 2 or 3 way cabinets that everybody's got hiding in their garage now because. It's antiquated.
Well,
everything's Class D amplification and lightweight Neo drivers in actually engineered boxes, and so you go buy even a Behringer thing. You go buy a Behringer, 2-way 12-inch Class D monitor cabinet thing. It'll cost you like $300, but it'll do almost everything you need to do, and it'll weigh 30 pounds.
That's like that Yamaha speaker. It's like relatively new. I got it used. It's like $300. It has like it's an active PA speaker.
Yeah, just plug a fucking mic right into it. Yeah,
it's fucking awesome. I mean, it's mono, but it's fucking dope.
Most
it's light as shit.
You do know that most large rock clubs. Did you know that most large rock clubs actually are mono though? Like that's a thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I'm not really familiar. I don't really know too much about like live sound.
Anything that was installed like 70s through the, late 80s, early 90s, almost all that shit is mono. Yeah, that's very common. Very common.
All right, Mike, that sounds good. He said I'm going to work on a show. You guys will be a part of it.
Word. I would say pedal-wise...
Outboard reverb, did you get that one?
Yeah, I would say pedal-wise for outboard reverb, my favorite that I've played with personally would probably be the Supermoon. The Mr. Black Supermoon. Outboard for studio, in the analog, I would take basically any plate. Second to that would be a tube-driven spring. And if you're talking digital, I would go with the things that I know, like the SPX 90 kind of deals, just because I like that cheesy 80s, 90s verb stuff.
I really like that unit. I have to. I got that from my buddy Chris. He, I don't know. I guess it's still technically his.
Have you tried it in the bypass mode?
Yeah. It's like that. We were always talking about that the Flaming Lips drums on. I think Cloud Taste Metallic or something. That's where I first heard about it.
Do it on vocals.
Yeah. Let's try that out. Like
it's a thing.
They were
Yeah. Pound the fuck out of the front of it. Make sure it's clipping like all the time. But put it in bypass so it's not doing anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Apparently that's like some of the Flaming Lips records, 90s records. That's how they got the sound. It was totally accidental. The guy was like pumping it through there just to get a little bit of reverb.
Yeah.
And
it wouldn't come up.
He was like, it's just not working, and he just kept like overloading it.
Yeah.
And then he said like when he had it in mode or turned the speakers on, he's like, it was the biggest drum sound I've ever heard. And it was just from fucking overdriving SPX 90.
It's not all rack gear though. I mean that Mr. Black thing is a pedal.
I also like
the plates are bigger or medium-sized boxes. The spring would be a box. The 990 is the only thing really that's.
You should try overdriving it.
Rack mount
or overloading it. Yeah, I like the. I mean, it's
the 990 should also do it.
Is that a different one? Yeah, I don't know.
That's like the modern update.
Oh, okay.
It's not like
not like
it came out last year,
you can get
but
them $50-$100 now.
They're usually about $2, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I've seen ones online.
Yeah, put it in bypass. You should have an input trimmer on the left-hand side of the controls.
Nice.
And yeah, put it in bypass. Watch your output signal though. Make sure you're not clipping whatever it's hooked to on the other side. You just want to clip the front end of the
SPX.
Yeah, the SPX unit. But yeah, it does some pretty interesting colorations because there's conversion both directions that are happening there, and you're hammering the front of it. Yeah,
if you look at like Dave Fridman, I don't know if he did those drums, the ones I'm talking about specifically, the Flaming Lips. Obviously, he's worked with them in the past, but Tarbox Studio, if you look at his gear list, which I've done, he has a couple SPX 90 units in that, and I'm sure that's because he's known for using stuff like that and distorting the fuck out of shit with stuff you wouldn't normally distort things with.
Travis, are you gonna do the smooth plaster build up on your
that's awesome.
echo chamber?
Oh, hey Phil, what's up? I used 2 Keeley 30 millisecond for Vox and guitar. Is that the doubler, Phil? Were you telling me about that? Somebody was telling me about the Keeley. There's like a pedal where it's like a instant double track. I want to get one. That's gonna be my next acquisition when I can get some funds for it. Maybe I'll get a used one. Oh, sick, Phil. Yeah. I've been meaning to check that out. How's that been working out for you?
Good.
He said not to tell anybody about it because it was like. 125, all right. He said not to tell anybody because he's like, this will be the new thing. It sounds fucking cool. I was looking at the videos for it. It's like, because I usually double track shit, double track vocals, double track guitars, whatever. This is just like, it's instant double track. You can use it live.
My Polychorus has that in it.
Oh, really?
It's one of the settings on the rotary switch.
Oh,
double track.
Oh, we gotta check that out.
I check it out every time I play.
What Jay's trying to say is, you dummy, I've known about this. I've had a Polychorus.
I'm sure
90s.
I'm sure the Polychorus does it differently than whatever this box is, because now we have like all kinds of
Yeah, this is
crazy
like,
digital processors in little handheld
I think
boxes.
that's like
But
all this thing is just a double tracker. I was gonna say,
oh yeah, subway tiles would be cool.
yeah, that sounds awesome, Travis. I didn't mean to skip over that. That's gonna be sick when you build the echo chamber. Also, last week I think it came up. The EHX Holy Grail is great reverb for vocals, especially. I used to use that into my 4-track. You wouldn't think it, but that thing sounds fucking great.
Also, for vocals into your 4-track, if you use a clone theory and set the rate very, very slow, or not a clone theory, a small clone.
Oh, small clone, yeah.
Yeah, you get it. There's definitely a certain amount of like.
Is that? I guess that's modern, right? Yeah, those
I
pedals
mean,
are kind of older, but
yeah, I mean those came out in like the 80s, I think, or whatever. But the reissues they still make, so it counts.
It's not modern at all, but the Boss DM2 is a sick pedal. There's actually some videos that some of you guys have been digging up on the Be Cool Cowboy channel, which I really haven't done much with, but I did a couple Steely Dan covers at one point. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I just had this fucking Steely Dan moment, and which I love Steely Dan, but because of the songwriting, I guess. But anyway, like I was using that DM2. You could kind of hear what that sounds like. It's just like a cool slap back sort of like echo sound. Not quite a reverb, I guess, but I guess it's kind of in like certain, right? Like, wouldn't you say like there's certain overlap with like delays and reverb at a certain point?
Well, I mean, it's all a function of the same thing.
Right.
Really, chorus too. I mean, all of that shit is based on a delay line of a varying lengths of time.
Yeah. I mean, you can't with the DM2, it doesn't have like enormous amount of delay time
And a lot of those things too have, a preset amount of feedback, and then you can adjust it from there.
Yeah.
So if you were to vary the feedback on a certain effect, you could most likely make it do what the other effect is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all kind of have the
So if you shorten the feedback
diagram.
Yeah, if you shorten the feedback on like a reverb down to almost nothing, then what you'd end up actually with is like an echo, a slight echo, or some sort of delay, depending on what other controls were involved.
Right.
And if you turned the wet way down and affected the way that delay line was working, and then affected its phase at the end, what you'd end up with was a chorus. And if you oversped its clock and gave it more feedback, you'd end up with something that was kind of like a flanger. This all functions of the same shit. You look in those old Electro Harmonics pedals, there's like 3 or 4 different clock chips that they used, and then there's 5 or 6 different Bucket Brigade chips that they used. But those chips are not like, it's not like you pull out the 3008 chip and like, oh, this is my chorus chip. No, it's a delay line. It doesn't know what the fuck its sound is. All it does is it delays whatever comes in here, and when it comes out here, it's delayed by X number of bits. So whatever your support circuit is, and however those feedback and clock networks are set up, defines what the actual sound of that delay line is. But it's all functions of the same shit. Anyway. Do you sacrifice sound by using modern cabs, gear? I guess that really depends on what you're trying to do. I don't consider it a sacrifice if whatever you're doing gets you to the sound you're trying to have. To me, a sacrifice would be if I had to leave like my Drip Edge 212 at home and play some like piece of shit PV thing because I didn't feel like carrying the or wasn't able to carry the 212, let's say. Like using backline to me feels kind of like I'm making a sacrifice someplace.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's just how it goes.
Yeah, I think like it all comes down to, whoa, we got some lightning outside. We may be streaming in the dark here in a moment.
But I don't feel like if the sound that you're getting out of your gear is a sound that you're proud of and a sound that you like, I don't feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like there's basically no holds barred. I mean, whatever it is that gets you there. If you like,
sounds good, it is good.
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly some garbage speakers and cabinets and stuff out there. Like if you're running like Radio Shack speakers in a seismic cabinet, I would question that. But If it's getting you off, then
it gets
who
the
the fuck
sound that
cares?
you want. Yeah. Yeah, that's something I've been
You
thinking
do
a lot
you.
about.
You do you.
Do something you want to do today. I've been thinking about that because I've been doing those 2 videos I did on the Metal Zone and the Rock Tech Distortion. Because like Metal Zone has like such bad. Well, there's people that love it and people that hate it, and there's everybody in between. But the thing I'm realizing is like, especially music, everybody probably knows this, but it's so goddamn subjective. Like, people fucking love using the Metal Zone. It gets them the sound that they want. Like, I'm not one to argue with that.
There is no accounting. There's no accounting for taste.
Dude, I've been using them on these metal songs I've been working on for the Fall Song Challenge.
Yeah.
It sounds fucking sick. For what it is, I'm like, holy shit.
Well.
So, like, I don't know. I guess what I'm realizing is, like, along with what Mike's saying, you know, I think it's all subjective. Like, I don't know. Because, like, so one of my favorite YouTube channels, Angry Video Game Nerd, Cinemassacre, is this dude doing these, you know, that's kind of the idea where I got the critique all these shitty pedals people say, you know, because he does crappy video games. But, like, crappy video games are so objectively bad that it works really well. What I'm realizing with, like, if you're trying to do this with pedals and music stuff is, like, it's not, like, objectively... There's always somebody who likes it. Like, old video games are shitty because the way they're programmed, the way that they look, the way the controls are.
The limitation of the technology, really.
Yeah, but, like...
Almost always.
Early pedals and, like, pedals people say are shit are sometimes some of them seems to come down to user error or people just that don't sound good to begin with or whatever. It's not their sound. And then it just seems very... Like, there's no objectivity to that. It's like, you know, this pedal's shit because it's this pedal... But or this game is bad because this game is legitimately bad. But like pedals and I don't know what I'm realizing about music gear. It's like I guess there's some stuff unless it's just made really shittily and it really sounds like shit. But I mean, especially with the Rock Tech, like it's a $5 pedal I got and it sounds like I could fucking use that if I had to. Like it sounds good. Like you could dial it in. Like I don't know. I guess it just comes down to taste. What do you think? I don't know.
The Mimic doesn't sound chorusy, though. Yeah, that's because it's digital. I'm sure it's taking a composite snapshot of every single bit that it receives and does whatever it does to it.
Billy Crystal
there's an algorithm. That's funny.
Awesome name. Bean Trees, if you make music as an art form, there is no right or wrong. Most of my equipment was free hand-me-downs. I just work with what I just... Oh, you're just reading that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to go about it.
Certainly can change your circumstances by using things that are either found or handed down or borrowed or whatever. The bass player and the guitarist both use metal zones. I suspect that was painfully shrill and bright and a very tough session to get through indeed. But at least if you're scooping out all that low mid, there's some place for the drums to live, which in most of that Doom shit there barely is.
Dude,
some of those bands are very, very tough on their drummers.
I just think it's funny. Like I kind of, you know, here I thought I was making this cool series, and it was going to be like, oh, this is like, you know, inspired by the thing I love, and it's like this just doesn't work because I don't know.
Tree Man, gas question. Dedicated mic preamp versus just making music with my mixer preamp. I would say that if there is a piece of equipment you could stand to have, you know, ahead of buying outboard and your mixer preamps all work, I would just use your mixer preamps unless you have some reason to need to get a dedicated outboard pre. I mean, I don't know a recordist alive who couldn't stand more microphones or cables, so your money is spent, you know, better spent in other places, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Unless your budget's huge and you're really just looking for flavors.
Yeah, if it does a certain coloration of sound that you want, you know, if it's just, especially if it's just a transparent preamp or doesn't really, you know, then it's like, yeah, I agree with what Matt's saying there. I guess it comes down to if you like the sound of it and if you have enough preamps to use currently. I don't know. And I guess the other question is, will you use it often? You know, that's always a big gas question. Somebody mentioned that earlier. I think Matt, or maybe James, and they said they only get stuff that they're going to use for a long time. And I think if you're going to use it for a long time, like again, I always use the reference to my speakers, the universal audio stuff I invested in, this mic, like that shit I use every fucking day. If it's something that you're going to use every day, that's going to, you know, either streamline your workflow or make it easier for you to do something, then get it. If it's something that you just kind of want to get it, and you might use it, you know, a little bit here and there, I don't know, you know. I think that then that's definitely gassing. And I mean, I think a certain amount of gas is normal, right? But like, I really want to get that Keeley double tracker pedal that Phil is talking about, and maybe I will, you know, get it used. But I don't know. I think just ask yourself the hard questions, you know. Or is it something you're going to use every day? What's really the root of why you want it? Does it have a coloration that you want to use? Do you have enough preamps existing? Like, because it's like, I think what Jay is saying is like it's a rabbit hole, you know. Like you're saying, there's not a person alive that couldn't stand to have more mic pre's. I mean, you're telling me about all those pre's and units that you have where it's
I have tons of them, but I never use half of them. And honestly, like, I could always stand to have more and better microphones more than I need any more fucking mic pre's on the front end.
Yeah. But, that's a great point too. It's like maybe you can allocate the resources to something else.
Well, you know, think about how many times you've gone to record or to play a show or something, and you grabbed a mic stand, and like whether it was your mic stand or not, it was fucked up, right? Like, yeah. Like if you could buy 15 more nice mic stands with, you know, good booms and tight adjusters and things that actually worked correctly,
like duct tape together,
or buy one fucking mic preamp that you don't really need right now, I'd buy the stands.
Yeah.
And maybe I would buy like 13 stands so that I could afford to buy like a good fistful of like Noitrick connectors, so I can make myself some new mic cables to go with those stands.
Nice, man.
You know, I think you have to play it like.
No, that's
play it off of what's actually most important to your workflow. I mean, do you need an extra piece of gear in your workflow? Probably not. Do you need more mic stands and more accessories and things to make your workflow easier? Probably.
Unless you have mic stands at work, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think most amateur recordists probably have like a couple of decent mic stands that are like semi-functional, and then they have a bunch of shit because it's all hand-me-downs.
I had same here. I had the same mic stands for a while, and like
that's absolutely true. A new piece of gear doesn't equate to guaranteed better recordings. Absolutely.
Nice. That's something I had to do too. It was with my mic stands and shit. It was like
I'm in the same boat. I've killed all of mine this year.
Yeah, I had like probably 8 or 9 that were, some of them were half functioning, some of them were fucked. Like, so what I did was I just put them all on the ground and took a boom from this one, took this part of that one, and I just, you know, the ones that were too far gone, I just fucking trashed them. And the other ones I cut down so that they're like still useful in a certain way, and I just kind of like put the ones that together that worked, threw out the ones that were shot. But same here, like I could definitely get a fucking new couple mic stands, but. That's a good point, though. It's like comes down to utility and how you're going to use it, and whether it's just like a want or a need. Like I would argue that mic stands are definitely a need. Like
always, I've never been into a studio situation where there was like enough functional mic stands, unless it was, you know, like the big professional spots, obviously. But like, you know, and like the hobbyist through prosumer, let's say, level of commitment, everybody's hurting for fucking ways to, you know, you get a full band and everybody wants to record live, all of a sudden you're 5 mic stands short, you know, so you're duct taping shit and you're swinging mics and things are hanging all over the place. Like, you know, allocate your resources to things that serve you better. And I will say, you know,
I would say Matt also, because Treeman said gas question, it sounds like Treeman knows that there's an element of
I would if it were me in that situation, I think I would master the use of the preamp and EQ in my mixer before I moved on to a dedicated preamp. Just looking at it as the question is posed, all other gear aside. And the best thing you can do, you know, you're talking about a new piece of gear doesn't equate to guaranteed better recordings. The one thing that does equate to guaranteed better recordings is getting out there and making more and more recordings.
Yep.
You use your ears, you train your ears, and you learn the mental shortcuts to things that fucking sound good.
Yeah. It's all just practice. You want to get better at anything? You want to get better at playing Fortnite? Fucking play Fortnite all the time. You want to get better at, jogging, and you want to run a marathon, and fucking run all the time,
Yeah.
If you want to get better at recording, don't buy shit. Just record.
Fucking record,
as much as possible.
Yeah, do it.
And that's why I always say, man, like, don't. That's why I don't want, like, I used to spend a year on a record. Now I'm like, I'm gonna be doing stuff like I want to do stuff like every 2 months.
I still don't understand how, like, Martyr Art, Joe just put out his new record, and came out sweet. But dude, he spent like a year and a half making that record.
Yeah.
I have no idea how you spend a year and a half making a record. Like I physically couldn't sit with a record that long.
Yeah. And I feel like by the time
I got to the end of that, I would be so over that material I couldn't even handle it. Like the amount of dedication it would take to spend a year and a half on it, man, I almost envy that. But
I just think like
I don't know.
We get so wrapped up in like thinking there's like this preciousness to things like that. It's like,
well, I think for some people it's sort of their process to like go over it and go back over it, and because talking to him about it, he it was like,
I gotta get him on the pod.
You should. I'm sure he's probably hanging out. He's obviously not here tonight, but he's probably hanging out. But talking to him about it, he was talking about he put down like scratch guitar to a click, and then he started stacking like drums, and then he would cut like guitars, but he would come up with something else after that guitar was down, so we'd go back and recut guitars, and then so there's a lot of like,
yeah,
I don't know what you call that, like
drafting,
building Jenga. Yeah. Like, so it's a lot of stacking, so I understand the process and how it took that long basically there. But
yeah, and I think there's a certain amount of drafting that is great to do, like especially like books and novels and movie scripts. Like some of that shit goes through like 20 drafts, and like sometimes you need to do that with songs too. Like I definitely do that. Like, I mean, Just a Trick, there's like the 4-track versions that I just blasted out, and then I sat with those tracks for a minute, and then I recorded the digital ones, and they changed and evolved, and the whole point of that was to make an A/B test so people can listen to both and say like, oh, this is cool, or this was in development, or oh, this is interesting how this developed, whatever. And also for me, too. And it's like to do that, and because it's always something I'm curious about too, and like the first versions of things. But yeah, I think there comes a point when I think just knowing when something is done is a skill. Like honestly, like, or being able to let go of something. I mean, that's 80% is always good enough, Like, I'm sure Joe, I don't know Joe's process, but like, there's some point in that process, whether when he recorded the scratch guitars, maybe when he recorded that second guitar pass that was different, that could have been the 80% mark, and then he, getting it from 80 to, or 81% to 95% or whatever.
Well,
that took another year. It's like,
but I think that his process, I think he's trying always for 110%.
right.
But it's not 110% as the world sees it. It's 110% of what he thinks goal is. I don't think he operates from a place of necessarily caring what people think. I think he has sort of a plan.
His own personal.
Yeah, I think he has a plan, and
goalpost.
I think he has, from the time the song starts going down, I think he has an idea of what that final product has to be. And however long it took to get there, that's how long it took to get there,
Sure.
because it had to sound this way.
Again, we always bring up Kevin Shields, My
Right.
Bloody Valentine.
Right.
Motherfucker spent 11 years, 20 years making these
Jesus
records.
Christ.
Like, it seems to always be the exception to the rule. I'm not saying, like, don't work like that. But if your goal is to get better at what you're doing, or to put stuff out, or get your art out there, get your message out there, whatever, you can't achieve that by not ever putting anything out. And I don't know. I don't know that process. Like, I used to be part of that process, and it was exactly what Jay said. It's like, you lose momentum with the material, it gets old. I don't know. I just feel like most people aren't putting out. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just me, man. It's like, I guess this shit I'm putting out is just not these masterpiece, opus things. It's like, I used to think that they were, and like I said, always say is like if you had a year and a half to make a record, that's 12, 18 months. The time it takes to make that one record, you could potentially make a record every month, and you could make 18 albums versus making one album. And I guarantee you, if you make one album of 10 songs or 18 albums of 10 songs, and at the end of a year and a half you have 10 songs and 180 songs, even if you took the best 10 of those 180 songs, I guarantee that would be a much better fucking record than the record you spent a year and a half making just 10 songs. Like, I don't know. For me, like, that's where I'm at. I just want to fucking write stuff, get it down, document it, and move on. Like, because I feel like I'm finally hitting a point in my process where the stuff I'm putting out is okay. It's not like amazing. It's not total shit, but I don't like suck anymore. So it's like I'm gaining a little confidence in being able to put stuff out and being able to say things are done, and that my level of taste and my level of ability are starting to line up more. I don't know. I guess it depends what you're doing and how you feel about it and your personal outlook. And I just think, like, for most of the people that I get emails from, DMs from, that I talk to on a regular basis, people that I have known in the past, people in bands, I've seen it happen in my own bands, in other people's bands. Like, the momentum is what fucking kills a band. Like, that's what killed all my other bands that I was in, was just fuck it up recording session, taking time off. I'm not saying that those things aren't stuff that happens, but like, and time again, like, the one band I was in Brooklyn, Electricians, back in the day, was like, we went to this dude and recorded 8 of our songs in like a day, and it came out good, And then we spent another year and a half like redoing those songs, because then we were like, oh, I don't really like the way this came out. And I always think, like, what the fuck would happen to that band had we put out that record and just wrote another 8 songs? Like,
that's what you should do.
Somebody mentioned that reviewed it, that knew us. He said it was a Pyrrhic victory, and that's like a victory where the losses are so great that it was almost not even worth it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. We fucking lost momentum. The album came out, whatever it is, but the people that have heard it are probably me and like some friends and the people that followed us around that time, which was not very many. And at that time, I was like, oh, this is it. This is going to be the thing. This is going to be the thing that, breaks us. It's going to be the thing people know about. It's like, it wasn't that thing. And I'm not saying it won't be that thing for you, but like, maybe it will be. I don't know. Maybe the first fucking thing you write will be, But I just don't think, I don't think like culture and art and music works like that way anymore,
Yeah.
Because of the speed of time, distance and time is gone. I don't know. I'm kind of like going off. What were you saying?
I don't know. I'm just processing what you're saying. I'm just thinking that, like, to me, the more time I spend on a track, the more I whittle the elements down in the mix, and the more shit I stack on it if it's one of my own. If I spend a year and a half working on, let's say, 10 songs, or a year working on 10 songs, like, they probably, each one of them probably have fucking 16, 20 guitar layers on it, because, like, I didn't have anything else to do, so I was just, here's the thing, the song's been done for that long, so here's, like, 16 to 20 extra layers of shit that you didn't really need.
Exactly, yeah.
So I don't know how to do that. But, I mean, like, but him spending a year and a half making that record, like, you listen to it, there's obviously a pretty good stack of guitar layers, but it's not like, it's not crazy. It's not like every part has an octave part, has a double part, has a pitch shifted octave part, has a wah part, whatever, it's like the pieces are assembled. But, I don't know. It just blows my mind, like, thinking about that. Talking to him the other night when he did his record.
I gotta have him on, because, like,
man,
I feel like I used to have that mentality, and I don't want to say that it's like a negative mentality or a mentality people shouldn't have, but
I don't think it's negative. It's just his workflow. It's just one that I really have a hard time wrapping my head around.
I'm like past that. I guess I am past that. I'm not saying like everybody's journey is different, but like for me, I went through that phase, and I realized that I just wanted to get the best I could get at what I'm doing, and the way to do that was not to anguish over 10 songs, but to like increase the output to like as many fucking songs as I could do, and capture the lighting in the bottle, and your mind, your mood changes. Like what you said about drums when you're like we were talking about recording drums. It's like it's hard to do because like a drum set will sound different on like a different time of day in a room that's heated from one day to the next, and like I feel like that's exactly how we are as creative people and like artists and anything in fucking life. Like one day you could be really into drinking water and the next day you want fucking iced tea. Like, so it's like if you want to, like when you're making that song, I think in that mentality, in that moment, like that is kind of the energy of whatever you're making. And then when you come back to it days later, years later, months later, it's completely different, and your mind state is completely different. The things that have happened to you that day are completely different. The things you're thinking about are different. Like you may have been depressed that day, you may have been manic, like whatever. Like you may have drunk coffee that day, you may have had a beer. Like I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like for me, what I realize about myself, and not everybody's the same, but like I just want to get when I'm in a certain mood to do something. Like I've realized that if I don't do it in that moment, and
the
get
fire's
it done,
gone later.
Exactly. Exactly. And maybe that's the same for you. Maybe it's not. But if if something you can relate to, like I'd be love to either pass that along or hear your stories about it or whatever. Because I feel like that was me, man. I was like I used to be that person that was like that, and I think I was worse for the wear because I would fucking anguish and toil and like put myself through all this shit and like feel like shit, and like it was totally like nobody fucking even listens to that record anymore. It's like.
Well, even if they listen to it, they're not. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, that's kind of a bad way. Like I'm just a fucking negative asshole sometimes, but yeah, it's like I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Basically, like it's just another thing that I did, and it's. I think the more things that you do, and the more things you get done, the more you learn, and life's all about learning, and why not learn as much as you fucking can about yourself and the world by doing. Like I just think like there's so many people that talk shit and just talk and never do anything, and like there's like people that execute and people that don't, and I think that's really what separates people from doing the things they want to do and getting what they want and getting shit done.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a lot to say about this. I I guess this is all themes that I come back to in some of this shit, but yeah, hopefully I'm not just rambling. Hopefully it makes sense. Check in on the chat here. Bobby, what's up? Oh, that's cool, Jeremy. There's an idea in a book that I'm reading about. I think you told me about this. You don't use an idea once you have it; it winds up somewhere else. If you like Depeche Mode, To Hold Water for 10 Days is great. Oh yeah. That's a cool record. I was listening to that recently. I like how Frashani did 6 solo albums in a row. He booked time in his studio, had a budget, and that's what he got. That's awesome. Yeah, so I guess that's what it comes down to, too. That's a good point. Self-imposed limitations, like having a deadline saying, like the John Frashani thing, if you're going to record something. And that's why I like the month deadline thing for myself, or 2 months. I don't know. Because there's nothing saying I can't go back, right, and make a greatest hits or something, which is kind of funny because like whatever, but there's nothing saying I can't go back and re-record all these songs that I've done.
Well, that was going to be my next point. You're talking about that band you were in and you went in and recorded with a dude and spent the next however long picking it apart and trying to redo it. Like what you should have done is put that first batch out and then sat on it, because I would bet that after a given point, about 6 of those songs you wouldn't have even played anymore.
Exactly.
So that would have left you down to 2. One of those you probably would have felt like you could have recorded better than you did the first time. And then you would have had all that new material to do for the next thing.
Exactly. And that's just wisdom, man. And that just comes from doing shit, learning about your process, and figuring out how you want to do it. Yeah. I didn't have that. See, it's like if I could reach back in time and tell my younger self that, I'd be a fucking completely different person sitting here right now. And also, like, I didn't have that wisdom back then. I didn't have that foresight, Because I think that's super wise, man. Like, yeah, after going through the shit that we've gone through, that's kind of, the conclusion that we've come to,
Yeah.
It's I don't understand how the bands that like you know, they come out with something big right out of the gate, you know, and it's like, I don't know how you follow it up, and I don't know if that's really the.
You don't worry about following it up.
But I
you
just
worry about following the music. You worry about
I feel like that
following
narrative though is
journey.
strange, you know, because I feel like that narrative that we all look at these bands, you know, and it's like, oh man, that's the first thing those guys ever made, and it's like this like landmark shit, and it's like, and we all like strive for that. Actually, yeah, I think this is a good point. We all strive for that ideal, but like, that's the fucking lottery ticket. That's like the 1 in a million thing that works out like that. That's not the story for most people. It's not the story for me. It's not the story for you.
But what most people don't realize about, like, let's say it's a record and it's really like a earth-shattering, you know, landmark release, right? Like, that might be landmark to you or to the charts or to both. But in that band's past, future trajectory, the whole scheme of things, all you saw right there was a snapshot. Whether you deem that, you know, landmark and super strong, to them they were making a record, and then the next thing's going to come out, and that's going to also be them making a record. So it's sort of like it's part of the progression. You're just looking at little pieces of what that band is putting out, but you're only getting tiny portions of the story.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that's the thing. It's like, I feel like those narratives that we make up and that I've made up about things, like, it's been overall damaging to my overall outlook of things.
But like Nirvana's a great example of that. Bleach, that started, you know, that's a great record, but it was down here.
Yeah.
And then Nevermind came out and blew everybody from fucking Guns N' Roses to Michael Jackson right off the fucking charts. Then In Utero came out. But you're really only looking at these things. You're not looking at those things.
Yeah.
So you really got to like look at what's inside the arc of those waves, and you know what that really means, and what was going on to the, you know, with the band and all that shit.
Yeah, that's a great point, man.
But you know,
what's up,
you can always circle back too. Anyway, it's kind of like, you know.
Oh, Joe, really quickly, Joe and Matt's been wanting to make some videos like the ones that Joe's been making for Horizon and Just a Trick. So you guys should chat or exchange emails or something, because I think Matt's looking to do some found footage shit for his own music, and I wanted to make sure you guys interacted, and because I'm sure Matt has some questions for you, Joe, so you guys should definitely brainstorm on some shit, or because Rangoon Online, that's Joe, he made the video.
Joe, I would say that to answer your question, have you noticed that older musicians don't really care about their tone? I would say that most of the older musicians that you see who are not playing the same shit that they played back in the day are only playing it for the paycheck. I'm just going to put that right out there. There's a lot of bands who have done these reunion tours and all this shit, you know, and they're basically playing what amounts to backline with, you know, shitty guitars and cheap stuff and the things that they're not known for. That's because those guys are out there trying to make a check. That's it.
I'm also going to weigh in on that and say that...
all right, Travis. Peace out, man.
Peace out, Travis. Good to see you, my friend. Good luck with the studio. Hopefully we'll get updates on that.
Definitely.
Ride the skateboard unit. That sounds awesome, man.
Get that shit on Instagram, man.
Yeah, Instagram it. I was going to say about that, too. I mean, flip side of it, to look at it a little differently, you know, great song is a great song is a great song is a great song, you know, like, whether you play that shit through fucking, like, I don't know, I think about, like, those boombox recordings of, like, again, Nirvana, you know, it's the Nevermind stuff, like.
I have one of those kind of boomboxes, like, in that closet you keep talking about.
Oh, cool. It's like, that's what I mean, like, I don't know. That's my take on it, like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, if they're using like subpar shit, that doesn't sound good. But I agree that what Jay is saying, like some of that shit is for a paycheck. But I think also
most of those guys are out there, you know. You can watch it happen. You know, they do a reunion tour or whatever, and then you don't hear anything from them for 20 years. You know why that is? Because on that reunion tour, they brought in like $6.2 million.
Yeah.
After expenses, they took home $4.1 million to split between, you know, 4 dudes or whatever. Like, what the fuck do they care? They're gonna go sleep it off and, you know, sip Jack Daniels in fucking Tahiti for the next whatever. And they'll do
Steve
a
Miller
reunion
Band.
tour in another 12 years and play county fairs and shit. And
Yeah,
there you
that's.
go.
I mean, that's what I was saying. Steve Miller. I remember an interview or something with him, and he was saying like the people asked him, "How come you didn't write a new song for like 20 years or whatever, or release anything new?" He's like, "Well, because like, those songs were." I feel like I said everything I needed to say. That's what the guy's based his career off. It's still to this day, still running the circles with the same
Yeah.
batches of songs and.
Yeah. Getting paid to play the greatest hits because people want to hear
Yeah,
that shit
yeah.
still. Yeah.
Matt, I kind of wonder if you get 95% of the meat and potatoes of quality right from the get-go, then spend. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, Matt. That's kind of what I've kind of realized about, and that was kind of what the point I was trying to prove with Just a Trick too. Is that's kind of my thesis for that, doing that. Like, I don't know. That's why I wanted to make like those original raw versions that were just like done on the spot, and then revisit them like a week or two later and re-record them and see what happens. Because I think if you listen to them, like I know personally, when I like listening to them, it's like the essence of whatever that was is there. Like what I added to it is just the spice of those on the meat and potatoes, I think.
You just got to be careful with how you spice things.
Yep.
That's the best lesson that most musicians can learn as they're progressing, I think. Careful with the fucking salt and the paprika, because you can only stomach so much of either one. Don't make your recipe too spicy.
Oh, yeah. Rangoon was saying, I feel like some bands have their whole lives to write their first album. Strokes' first album is better than anything else they ever did. Yeah, it's. I mean, that's that cliche thing too, right? You spend your whole life writing your first album, and then the second album you got to write in like 6 months or a year or something. I've heard that before. Like I don't know, because like if you're like about to put something out, you could. I mean, that's like the Neutral Milk Hotel. From what I understand, the formula for that shit was like Jeff Mangum put out like a bunch of tapes and things like prior to those, and you can hear like some of the parts. Basically, the story is like he took all the best shit that he had put out, that or worked on,
condensed it into things that look like songs and
smashed
out
it all
came.
together. I guarantee, like I think most of the people watching this are like a certain age, like 20s, 30s, like, and you've been playing music for 5, 10, 15 years. I bet if you went back through all the shit that you put out, or all the shit that you recorded, if I could find all the old recordings, I was actually trying to do this at one point.
I keep all mine. I played you half of them. They're on the fucking iPod.
This is my point about the one album, 10 songs, and the 180 songs. Like, I don't know how many songs I've written. Maybe, I don't know. I don't even know. I can't even say. Maybe 300. I don't know. Maybe less, maybe more. It's like if I went back and listened to that playlist of 300 tracks, and said like, okay, chorus of song 3 and outro of song 89, like, and just fucking smashed together like what I thought, or like sent it around to people and said, what do you think the best parts of this is? Like, wouldn't you think you'd have a fucking killer album at that point? It's like the first Foo Fighters album, there was like Dave Grohl picked out from what I understand, like 40 different songs. He took the best 10 or however many are on that record, and
but they were all 4-track demos to start with, and then what actually got put out as a record was just supposed to be a demo also.
Right.
I mean, it's him and fucking Barrett Jones, and that's it.
But I think that's a really good example though too, because it's like if you're putting out an album, and it's like me. I mean, I keep referencing my own shit, but whatever. Me and the Machine was originally, I had 20 songs.
Talk about what you know, man.
I had 20 songs for that, and I put the best 8 of them on the thing, and I think that's a fucking strong album. I like it still, and that's some of the stuff I want to put out, in post. But like, I don't know. I think I guess what I'm trying to say is like, it's just the numbers game. I think everything is just a numbers game. Like, you have 300 songs, and you want to put out a fucking album with 10, amalgamations of the best ones. That's gonna be a fucking killer record. I don't care, like, I don't know. I think just law of averages. If you have a pool of 2 potential bandmates, or a pool of 100 potential bandmates, like, chances are you're gonna find better bandmates in that huge pool of 100 people versus the 2 that you have. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the thing that's important is to make sure you're not getting too caught up in anything you're doing anyway.
Oh, that's cool, Joe. Jay Reatard would write a song every day for a week, and on Sunday would record a fleshed out version of his favorite song. That's awesome. Yeah, I like that. I think that too. It's like quantity definitely results in quality, and that's why I try to stress to people like, just fucking do as much as you can. Just do it, like, and do it in the moment and get it done and get some sort of finished gem first draft brainstorm, and then that's a great example. Like, that's kind of, I've been working on this metal album, and that's kind of what I've been doing, like a song a day, and I have a few of them stacked now, and it's
the metal album.
Yeah, it was only going to be a song, and now I'm like, huh.
Yeah, the metal album. I gotta hear some of that, man.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious.
I sent something to Joe today, but I'll send you something. Yeah, I've been sending a couple of
curious.
Yeah.
It actually surprises me that you went there.
To metal?
Yeah.
Well, I had a metal zone, and it just
I know,
seemed like
but
great fodder.
You've never really struck me as like a metal dude, so it's kind of like
that's the point.
Maybe
like,
that's the
I did like
maybe
that
that's
hip hop
the shtick,
song,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I did the hip hop song last year. I guess the fall song challenge for me is a way to like challenge myself.
Right.
And I think it's a great exercise in just songwriting. Like, yeah, I don't really listen to metal. Like, I mean, Black Sabbath's probably the most metal thing I've ever listened to. I don't really know modern metal bands. I don't go to metal shows. I'm not really into that whole scene. I don't really get it. And
yeah.
But sometimes, like, I don't know, like that's a great exercise in like challenging yourself to, I don't know, try something else. Like I mean, I know, like, I feel like there was a Kanye West interview and Jay-Z, and they were saying like they don't really listen to hip hop. They listen to a lot of like indie rock and things of that nature. It's
because they're looking for some place to gank their next idea.
Right.
Let's not fucking kid ourselves here.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is like those guys are like hip hop titans, and they're fucking listening to like indie rock. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I think to limit yourself, like it's all music. It's all like a great song is a great song is a great song. Whether that song's a hip hop song, whether that's a '50s rock and roll song,
sure.
Whether that's a metal song, like I don't know, man. It's like it all draws from like I don't know the same pool of like creativity and artistry and I don't know. I think that's what makes Nirvana like a great band. Like they were doing this really abrasive, like almost like punk influenced rock, like metal sound, but like it was like probably one of the biggest band of our lifetime now.
Yeah.
Besides fucking Post Malone, it's like I don't know. It's crazy. But that's another conversation.
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
But just, I mean, I think it just comes down to songs. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the airplane over the sea. Yeah, that's like the same idea. Like a lot of that is parts that were smashed together from like a multitude of stuff. Oh, thanks, Tree Man. I loved your digital experiment. Thanks. I would be curious to compare digitally mastered versions of your tape tracks versus fully digital. Yeah. Isn't that? I could be wrong, but I assume some studios that record your tape master their tracks. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I don't know how to do that though.
Wait, how to do what now?
Like,
sorry, somebody just hit me up looking for a service manual.
Send you like a cassette tape, like to hear something that's like mastered. So like I think if I made the 4-track stuff and just sent it right to a tape, I'd probably have to send you that tape. Like I feel like there's always something lost, like going from cassette, even just cassette to digital, like bouncing shit 4-track. Like I don't know, it always sounds a little bit more 3-dimensional to me on the 4-track versus when I put it on, like just like it gets flattened when you put it on digitally.
Yeah, but like,
I mean, in part it's the same quality, obviously.
But I've always kind of felt that my own recordings on a 4-track sort of had no, I don't know, there was something missing from the soundscape. Like you couldn't push it wide enough.
Right. Yeah, well, it is very, that's like a really good point about 4-track stuff. It is very, I don't know, insulated, isolated. I don't know how to say it. Like,
it's like super mono, and no matter what you do, you can't make it binaural. It just doesn't, it really doesn't play that well with the soundscape because of the limitations of the format.
Right.
And obviously it's not the format in so much as the format is tape, because we know that with, 1-inch and half-inch and even some 1/4-inch and all the way up to 2-inch tape, you can get giant dimension. I mean, some of the most classic records ever fucking made were made on tape. You
I
know
think
that
it's a
shit can
function
sound
of the
big.
format.
It's a function of the format and a function of the way that the mixer works and the limitations of the processing.
Right.
So.
That's yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. I guess I actually borrowed that compressor from Jay. I was meaning to master some stuff outboard.
Did you fuck around with that thing?
I did. Yeah, I've done a couple of things with it.
Do you like it or not really?
I don't know, man. I used to have that one too. Like, I don't know if it works for because I thought it was gonna work well for like doing the 4-track stuff. I think I need to test it out a little bit more. If that's cool. I don't know when you need it back.
If you don't want it, I'm gonna sell it. So.
Okay. Yeah, I did one video with it that came out cool. Basically using a compressor with a 4-track. I have so many fucking videos I gotta edit, man. But yeah, I've been meaning to outboard stuff, you know, rather than use outboard stuff to master the cassette stuff. Also, just because of the workflow. So, thank you for reminding me of that, Tree Man. I gotta think about that. The next thing I want to do with the metal thing, I was thinking about doing digital versions. Well, the next thing I want to do, or one of the things I want to do is record the demos digitally, or the first versions digitally. Basically the opposite of Just a Trick, right? So, because I remember John, what the fuck's the guy's name from Radiohead? Tom York. Why did I say John York? Johnny York. I was thinking of like the Smiths or something. I don't know, that's fucking weird.
Johnny Marr?
Yeah, so it's like, Johnny. He said something like, you know, because Radiohead, you know, they're saying like, I agree with this. Like the computers are really good for like sketching things out, you know, and like fucking around with loops and like moving things around.
Computer is the ultimate tool for manipulation.
Right, and composition. Yeah. So that's what I want to do for this next one is kind of, I don't know if I'm going to do it for the metal thing. I kind of like the way the metal stuff's been sounding, and I don't, it's kind of like what Matt was saying, like I kind of don't like been recording the song so fast. This is what happened with Just a Trick too. Like I recorded them so quickly that when I went back to do them digitally, I forgot how to play the songs because it was like, in that moment, it was almost like somebody else fucking made that shit. But yeah, basically I want to do something digitally and then use the 4-track as the final or the second version. So I don't know. That's going to be coming at some point.
I should dig out my treasure trove of junior high cassette tapes.
Yeah, dude, I really like that song. Anything Goes.
Oh, that one was cool. That was like high school. There's a song though that was recorded with a Sensonics drum machine. Have you ever heard one of those? Basically, it goes. It had like 4 gray pads on the top.
Yeah.
It was black and it had like a tempo control, and like it was basically like I think one voice and that was it. And I made a metal song with that and I think it was a heavy metal boss pedal, but it was called Beaten, Bleeding.
You still have that?
What?
Heavy metal?
No, I got rid of it. It was called Beaten, Bleeding, Butchered, and Bagged. I think I was like 14. It was really bad.
We gotta hear
really
this stuff.
Fucking bad.
Get a little insight into the mind of young Jay.
Yeah, I don't know what that one was about. I have binders full of shit I wrote when I was a kid, though. Like, some of it actually stuck with me so well that it became Surmiser songs later. Lyrics.
Dude, that's like Elliott Smith, too, man. He had stuff that I think his biographer was saying he kept going back to and reusing it or, like, reworking older stuff. Like,
there's a song on our first full-length called Lost Control. The first verse of that song I've had since I was about 12. So, yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Just never had a place to launch it. That song also has one of my favorite guitar tones that I've ever recorded on it. So.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I think that all goes back to too, man, like mining material, you know, and like just your output, whatever your level of output is, whatever age, it's like if you maintain that stuff, you can always go back to that and mine.
I should go find those binders.
Yeah,
there's like
dude, we should make a couple songs using lyrics or something.
There's a 3-inch 3-ring binder someplace. It's gray. I remember it. I used to write in that thing every single day.
Yeah,
every single day. Most of it, I'm sure, is shit, but some of it was cool.
But that's the thing. It's that
obviously
that
some of it was all right because it stuck with me that long.
Still using it.
Well, not anymore. We haven't played that song in years, but anyway.
That's like No Indie. I was telling somebody this. That was like the first song in the first band I was ever in. the lyrics that one of the guys wrote. Like I just reused those lyrics. Like basically, I was gonna start doing one track from that album I made when I was like 17 with those guys, and just fucking like use the song ideas because some of the songs are fucking awesome, and it was like just that youthful like naivete or just not thinking about it, man, just fucking rocking it out. And it's like there's magic to that. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't mentioned that I don't think about No Indie, but on Wonders of Color, the second track, that's the lyrics in that are from a song that was written by a bunch of 17-year-old friends of mine, and when I was that age. So I know I was telling Freddie that. That's right. Dreamman said, I feel like the unmastered tape tracks didn't stand a chance against the mastered. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of just like threw a limiter, I think, on the cassette versions, and also just recorded them really hot to digital. I don't know. Like I think in the recap I said I really like Speak Your Truth and Just a Trick cassette versions a lot. I think because of the distortion and the sound of them. I don't know. Yeah, I think that the digital ones, the mastered ones, definitely have a lot more depth. Like I think I fucked up the low end a little bit on the cassette ones. Yeah, I think it does come. I think it comes down to a matter of like whatever people like to listen to. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if there was a way to, that's why I borrowed that compressor from Jay, because I wanted to see if I could master the tape stuff right out of the 424, and then either put it to tape or put that to the computer, you know, and see what that sounds like, and do different passes of it with outboard shit, and just try that workflow. Because I never really did that, and then coming to think of it, so yeah, I don't know. I think some of them I do like. I don't know. I think I'm able to look past the quality of them. But and also just when I was doing them, I felt really there's a certain energy. Like that's what was different too. Like even the energy from the first, you know, 4-track versions to the digital, like it was totally different. And like I had so much more fun doing the 4-track ones, and then digitally it almost wasn't fun because it was like I don't know. I was like thinking about it too much, or I just couldn't recapture some of the stuff I liked about the cassette ones. I don't know. I guess that was like the whole point, but.
You know, these guys are speculating at what it looks like when I get extremely angry.
Oh, on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I've been fucking like talking like a.
Bobby said, or maybe it's opposite, and you should worry when he gets extremely happy. I would say for the average user, it could be scary on both ends of the spectrum. The middle ground with me is probably where you want to be.
I feel like you're pretty. Yeah, I feel like though you're pretty in the middle. Like I don't know.
You haven't ever seen me actually angry.
No. I don't intend to.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
I just like.
No.
I've been around too many people that get really angry over nothing. And obviously, I'm not saying that you do. I'm just saying like, I just always avoid whether it's just my personality or I'm like not confrontational or like. I just never think it's fucking worth it to like A, see people that are that angry, B, deal with people that are that angry, and C, like I don't know, like I feel like when people get that angry about dumb shit or just get angry, it's usually just a projection of their own like I don't know shortcomings or their own way they feel about themselves. I don't know. Yeah. Like I feel like I don't know. I can't picture you getting like that pissed, and I feel like we're similar in that sense where we're both like pretty level-headed and like say what we mean.
When I get super
pretty
pissed,
honest, like
when I get super pissed, one of two things happens: either you can't find me because I went someplace to make sure that
fishing.
Usually going driving, parking someplace and chain smoking.
Yeah.
So I don't do something we both regret, or something gets broken.
Yeah.
That's the.
Well, I guess that's it
generally.
For me too, man. Is like I never feel like anger is like an emotion that's
doesn't do you any good.
Exactly. So it's like for me, a lot of things I just kind of learn. I don't know. Maybe
it also is a natural
like
emotion to have.
Shit, but yeah. I don't know. Like I've been really angry myself. I've been in situations, especially with work and things, where I was like really fucking mad and like. I feel like it just doesn't get you It doesn't get you anywhere. Not to say you can't never be angry, but it's just for me, it's like an emotion that's like kind of worthless.
Jeremy, you're talking about a lot of your songs come from anger. A lot of my songs, almost all of my songs, come from a place of anger also, which is why I can be
That's
outwardly
true.
peaceful.
I do have some songs that are like that too. Now you mention it.
It's I have no happy songs. I don't write love songs. I don't write cutesy shit. I don't write things that are ironic or, you know, whatever. I write shit that's real and most of it's pissy. But it allows me, yeah,
I feel like it's good.
The therapeutic release. It's catharsis.
I feel like it always makes for like good material too. I've noticed that too now that you guys mention that, because like a lot of the, even the Just a Trick stuff, like some of that stuff is like pretty, comes from like a place of I don't know about anger, but yeah, it's like
most of my
negative emotions. Like having some sort of an enemy, I feel like is usually helpful for writing stuff.
Fuck yeah, it is.
It just fucking pours out of you when you get into that state. Like I've always noticed songs that I write that are negative. Whether they're true or based on something or not, it's like
I had an interaction with somebody and it pissed me off so much that I wrote an EP about it.
Yeah. Well, and then that's like Just a Trick, man. Like a lot of those songs are just based on interactions with people and just like wanting to explore that, because like I just think so many people.
Do I like any old English
bullshit?
Punk? How far back? Like External Menace kind of stuff? I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, that's true too, Jeremy. A lot of mine are about shit I'm working out in my head. Yeah, big fucking deal, man. Walk the walk. Yeah, that's a good point, man. It's like I definitely don't, because like I just said, like, oh, anger. Yeah, it's like kind of a worthless emotion. I guess when I feel like physically anger, when I've seen people get really angry or like smash shit or like harm other people, I guess that's what I mean. Like I think it's sort of.
I don't put up with people harming other people.
Yeah, I've seen people like do shit out of anger and like use anger as like a way to like cover up their fucked up like way of interacting with the world. I guess that's where I mean it's like kind of like worth. And I also think like, you know, if somebody fucking backs into your car and there's a huge fucking dent in it, you can either and there's like that person's nowhere in sight. It's like, yeah, you could be pissed about that for a second, but to like dwell on that or like it's like what the fuck can you do? It's over. There's nothing you can do about it. It happened. Like that's where I'm just like I just have no time to get angry about that. I don't want to spend my energy getting angry about something I can't change.
I remember being like much younger and like walking out of a bar, drinking underage and stuff, hanging out with older guys, and like there's a guy out in front of the bar slapping his old lady around, and three of us beat the fuck out of that dude right in front of that bar, and I've never felt so good about such a negative interaction in my entire life.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me to this day. Like I don't put up with that shit. I will
that's like justice.
I will Hulk smash your head clean out of your ass if I can possibly do it for some shit like that. But other than that, you won't see me resort to physical violence basically for anything.
Well, that's just like an objectively like fucked up situation. Like,
except for on the 3 tour, there was a guy that was supposed to be like the house guy, and he just got in the way all night. And he was standing talking with his friends while I was running from the sound booth up to stage, back and forth trying to troubleshoot. And every time I came back, I had to, excuse me. So finally, about the 6th time, I bear hugged that motherfucker from the back, and I carried him across the room and put him down. And I said, you just fucking sit there until I'm done doing this. I'm tired of asking you to move, and I'm tired of you not listening to me.
What do you
do? Whoa. I went and told his manager, I said, that fucknut right there is useless to me. Send him home. He's eating your money. Fuck him. Send him home. That kid went home.
Nice.
I mixed 4 bands that night in a club I'd never been in before. Fuck you, go home. But I didn't hurt him, I just picked him up. More surprised him, I think, than anything. But Tree Man, neither.
Yeah, I don't fuck with any of that shit. It just, I don't know, for me, I don't know, I've never really talked to you about it, but for me, it's just, it's always Russian roulette with that stuff, and mostly...
Roulette?
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't, it's not, yeah, it doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't drink alcohol at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've been like 5 years, yeah.
And weed is a very occasional.
That shit just makes me really paranoid.
Makes me tired as fuck. I fall asleep like in such random places I can't even tell you. I fell asleep at the Sound City party. I tell you that story.
Oh, really?
We'll save that for
You're
another
out in
time.
LA, that makes sense.
We'll save that for another time.
Probably just got high from staying next to people.
It's fucking everywhere you go. But yeah, it zonked me at a wedding. It happened one time. Fucking passed out in like some mulch in a suit and shit. But
maybe we'll start next week off with that.
what's that?
But all those drugged out rock stars.
What about them?
I just think for me, like I feel like I always feel like a base level like fucked up. So getting any sort of chemical change to that usually doesn't really help that. That's something I've kind of realized over time. Like I already feel like really fucked, or like some people say, "Oh, I'm high all the time." Like I'm definitely. I don't know where I'm going with this. It just doesn't mix with me chemistry wise. It's just not something I should do.
When I drink alcohol, it kind of feels like somebody stabbed me in the side of the fucking head, and it stays that way for about a day. And it doesn't matter if it's 1 beer or 10 beers; it's the same outcome every time.
Yeah.
The stronger the beer, the worse it is.
I'm either like when this is like again I stopped probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. I think it's actually kind of Halloween is my. I haven't really keep track. I'm not like I was never like I had an issue, but I just suffer from depression, and like I said, it was Russian roulette. It's like I could either like have a drink and it wouldn't affect me the next day, or then like a week after the day I had something to drink, I'd be like fucked, like super depressed, super down.
That's not even it for me. It's like there are physical repercussions of drinking that.
Oh yeah, and once you hit a certain age too.
Not even when I go to sleep. Like if I had a beer sitting here right now, by the time we're done with this podcast, which is basically now,
yeah,
I would have that stabbing thing, and it would feel like there's a weird thing that happens in my chest. I don't know what the fuck it is. I think I actually might be allergic to something that's in.
Oh yeah, that sounds like very physical. So. I'm talking that's like chemically. It doesn't. Some people drink to unwind. Some people smoke pot to unwind. Some people smoke pot to relax. Like that stuff does not make me relax. Like I get either super fucking anxious, super paranoid. My whole body hurts, and then like alcohol is just like super depressed, or I'm fine, and it's like I just can't play that game anymore. It's like
my other
can't roll the dice on that anymore.
My other thing is from like. I don't know, probably 15 or 16 until I was almost 18. I drank every fucking day. I was hanging out with older guys, and it was, what we did. We went to bars and shit all the time. We drank our fucking paychecks. On non-party bar nights, we were drinking to fit the jack in somebody's fucking living room, or...
Kind of got it out of your system.
You're drinking every fucking day. Like, to the point where, like, I can't even tell you, like, some of the shit that was happening. It was all fucked up. So, yeah,
that's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of fucking money when you do that.
Yeah, I mean, I was cutting lawns even back then. I guess in the heyday of it was like 16 to almost 18. So in that time period, though, I was cutting grass. So, like, my one buddy would pick me up from work every day, and I'd go home and get showered, or I'd get a shower at his house, wherever the fuck it was, and we'd go to the liquor store or the bar or whatever place it was. But alcohol was involved every single time. Mm-hmm. All we fucking did.
Yeah.
Played very little music in that time period. Whatever. But one day I woke up,
That's awesome. That you like.
One day I woke up feeling like fucking shit.
Some people never fucking break out of that, man.
Yeah, I know. But I woke up one day feeling like shit. And it's like, man, why do I feel like shit? And the common denominator was that.
Yeah.
All I do is hang out with this dude, and we go and do this.
Dude,
so I need to not do that anymore. So when they called me the next day,
exactly what I was saying before. Yeah. Exactly.
So he called me the next day, and he's like, "Yo, we're gonna go to whatever." Like, nah, man, I'm not going. Oh, you sick? What's up, man? Like, nah, I can't do it. Can't do it anymore. Yeah. Done. And I've been done. It's not,
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you
know thyself.
Yeah. Every once in a while, somebody offers you a beer or whatever, and it's like, I'll try a sip of yours. How about that? I don't need that. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
And it's not like...
But, to each their own, too. Yeah.
I'm not judging anybody. Honestly, I fucking wish I could be somebody that could get some Magic Hat #9 and fucking chill out, or smoke a bowl in LA and chill out. But like, I really wish I could be a person that could partake in those activities. But like, my history and knowing myself, I just know at this point, like, as badly as I want to be somebody who can engage in those activities, and how I'm almost envious of people that can engage in those activities with seemingly no negative results. Like, I'm just not that kind of person.
Whoa, Bobby. Yeah, congrats on that, man. That's a fucking tough one to beat. That's a very serious fucking.
Whoa, dude. Yeah.
It's a very serious epidemic. Even
For
even here in our little tiny towns, it's like it seems like barely a month passes and you hear about somebody that you knew, or somebody that somebody knew, or whatever.
It's crazy, man. That's what happened to Munchie, man.
Didn't fucking make it out. So kudos to you for getting out of that shit. Keep strong on that.
For real. Matt said too, damn, opioid addict for 5 years. God, good for you, man. Glad you made it through that, dude. That's some fucking serious, heavy shit.
Damn. How old was I when I stopped drinking? I think it was just short of my 18th birthday when I stopped drinking like that. Right around, I don't know, I guess it was probably 18, 19, somewhere in there. I stopped smoking weed forever too. I mean, it was only just like in the last couple of years I even picked up a little bit here and there, and mostly for migraines and shit, and trying to medicate that. So,
yeah,
it's
that's awesome, dude.
I mean, it's just something I needed to do.
Yeah, it sounds like you went really deep into that lifestyle.
But with
came out like,
yeah, but with alcohol, I never really felt I don't know. Like, I know people who are like, say, heavy, hardcore alcoholics, like young guys.
Yeah, I think everybody knows people.
Fucking, but they get like the shakes and all that crazy stuff, and like I went through very little of that on the way back out, and it was just done.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I feel like I can say too about that shit is like, I don't know. I guess I was never like, I definitely have an addictive personality, but like I was never.
Yo, Bobby, no judgment on that, man.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of people that end up in.
Oh yeah, of course, man.
Those kind of situations, and it's just shit that happens. The important part is that you get out of it. Nobody here's passing judgment on that.
No, hell no, man. Thank you for sharing. I feel like we went to a really honest, deep territory.
Damn.
I don't know how this happened, but yeah, Matt, that's crazy too, man. He's saying a friend with a girl I went to school with just OD'd. It's serious, man. Like, if that's something that you struggle with and you need people to talk to, like, seek people to talk to,
For real.
Talk to us, whatever, It's like, that shit is...
I don't know about you, but I certainly have known a lot of people who were either deep in the pit of the opioid thing or on various edges of the slope of recovery, or, and have made it out in various ways, but, it's definitely not an easy thing to go alone. That's for damn sure, so...
That's the biggest thing, It's like,
you can definitely reach out.
Yeah. Whew, yeah. Damn, we went deep. I feel.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Holy fuck. Okay, we got Tree Man coming out. Changing the subject. Thoughts on? Oh yeah, it's Craft Matt at Comcast.net. If anybody needs to talk about this stuff. Thoughts on Christian rock penetrating U.S. charts at the turn of the century? Creed, Switchfoot. Could that ever happen again? Their cultural phenomenon intrigues me. Interesting question. Thank you for bringing that one up, Tree Man. POD.
Yeah, I don't think I want to answer that question.
I'm not really sure what.
There's too much of a trigger here, I think, for me to answer that question. I'm going to step in too big a pile of shit if I go the way that I'm thinking about the answer to that question.
Okay, well, maybe we'll take it from a different angle then.
Yeah, I'll let you lead on this one. Go ahead. What you got?
So, turn of the century, we had September 11th, I don't know if there's any correlation between, because like some of those songs, a lot of the Christian rock that you mentioned is.
No, I'm not saying take the Christian out of it. I'm just saying
maybe it's more hopeful.
I don't want to chase down the rabbit hole of what I think of
that's all I can think
religion.
of is like, did it have something to do with 9/11? I don't know. People needing something more hopeful in that time period. People needing something positive. It is an interesting phenomenon. I think I never really thought about that movement as like a phenomenon, or as like something that happened during that time. But that's the initial thing that I went to with that. I don't know if there's any correlation, but I feel like you might be able to draw a line there, connecting those two things. You're welcome, Bobby. Thanks for sharing. Just the fact that any religious musical subgenre could penetrate.
Well, let's talk about religious musical subgenres. Modest Yahoo. Any of you guys ever listen to Modest Yahoo?
No, I've heard the name, but
Modest Yahoo's some pretty good shit.
Oh wait,
Hasidic rap.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah,
but that's religious as shit. Like, listen to the whole fucking thing. King Without a Crown. That was the fucking that was the lead single and the hit off that record. Like, that's a whole like. Ask Hashem for mercy and we'll throw you a rope. Like,
Yeah.
That's religious as fuck. So, I'm going to just scratch the surface of it and say that I think that the reason that Christian rock in those instances, the bands listed and whatnot, have penetrated the mainstream rock charts has little or less to do with their religious root and more to do with the songcraft, to put it that way. Because there's always been Christian rock bands that paralleled what was going on in music. There's bands like fucking Jars of Clay and shit that are putting out this sort of like poppy.
That's a good point. That's a really good
I
point.
think these bands ended up being crossover because they had enough talent and enough hook to be crossover.
Well, that's something that's interesting too.
Same with Modest Yahoo. I mean, that's like some.
Modest Yahoo's a little different.
That's but that's a reggae rap fusion. Like it hit at the perfect time.
Yeah.
You had Michael Franti and shit was coming out then. You had some stuff that was bringing up like the root reggae stuff and
The thing I was going to mention, I think Modest Yahoo is different because it's rap. When we listen to rap, it's usually about the wordplay, the cleverness of the words, the rhyme schemes. With rock, I've actually heard people say, and I've met people and known people that say they don't listen to, this goes along with what you're saying about the songmanship, they don't listen to the lyrics, they just listen to the melodies.
Well, that's why, you got people talking about they didn't even know band X, whatever, was a Christian band, because...
Right, yeah, because like
you're listening to the song, you're not listening to the words.
I mean, even
or you're
Creed,
not processing the
Creed
words.
is like obviously,
yeah, I mean,
pretty obviously some sort of, but like yeah, that's the truth. It's like I don't know, like certain, like you're saying, you're not processing the words, you're listening to the melody. Some people, I've heard people that they, that's what they say. They don't even.
And honestly,
like
I hate Creed, and I think Scott Stapp was always an asshat, but like,
that's the dude.
Yeah, but a lot of those lyrics are not written like, it's not like he comes right out in the first single on the record. It's like, Jesus, my motherfucking salvation. If he came out like that, 90% of the people that 90% of the people that bought that record would go, "Oh God."
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah, because anything that's like super...
so it's written metaphorically and with enough, prose and fluff and all the bullshit that goes into it, so that like at its most basic, at the average listener's most basic level of attention, you're most likely not going to know that that's a song about religion of any kind.
Yeah.
Unless you really go digging, it's not gonna come up for you.
I think like another, because I just thought of this too when we were talking about lyrics. Like I think of like some of the Stone Temple Pilots shit, like some Scott Weiland lyrics. Like I don't know, like take time with the wounded hands. It likes to heal. It likes to steal. Like what the fuck does that mean? I don't know, but it sounds cool. It's like maybe there's like the flip side of it is
take time with a wounded hand, 'cause it likes to heal. I like to steal. I don't
It's
know what the fuck he
some
was
of
on
those
about
fucking,
that.
yeah, some of those lyrics are like, if you write those out like a piece of paper, yeah, it's like, who knows what that means? Yeah, this is like a perfect rendition, the perfect point. It's like,
Yeah,
that's a cool melody.
No idea what the fuck he's talking about.
What the fuck he's talking about, or the rhymes that he's using.
It could be about addiction. That could certainly be true.
Sure. I guess I just mean to say, like, the flip side of it, where those lyrics are secondary to the melody.
Yeah. But I mean, to go back to the original point, I think that's how those bands broke through. It had less to do with their. But if you want to look at it from the business end of things, maybe the thing that made those bands actually punch through was the fact that there was church money behind them. I don't know that that's factual or not, but there's the potential for that. Because as we've discussed many times before, what runs the music industry and the pop charts and things is money. It's PR money, it's, producer money, it's paying the fucking DJs, it's paying, it's the payola, it's everything.
Yeah. It all comes back to money, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, that's how I would think about that. And that kept me from going down the religion rabbit hole, so we've made it.
And I mean, it could also just be
Born in the USA. I can't tell you how many times I've seen like these big fucking hyper-patriot redneck fucks Jeremy. With the trucks and shit.
Yeah.
Rocking songs like that. STP, no idea what they're talking about.
I was going to say one bookend to it. I forgot what it was now, though. It couldn't have been that prolific, profound. What the fuck was I going to say? It was like a bookend to this conversation about the lyrics and okay, so like, we're kind of assuming there's like some religious, religious, maybe that's just this, that what's the guy's name from Creed?
Scott Stapp.
Maybe that's just Scott Stapp's like personal path, demons, his way of moving through his life, his way of making lyrics, like that could just be isolated to his own experience as a person, and maybe it's not about like this huge,
I think that there are
message in it, but maybe it's just him, like like much like Scott Weiland's lyrics are what they are. Like that could just be, or whoever wrote them.
Well, I think everybody who writes is writing from a place of some sort of pre-existing subtext.
Sure.
That's how your life works. That's how your life works. There are things that have happened. There are things that you've seen, done, believe in, or think about. And that is your story. How you put that into words and how you phrase it and put it together over a song, that's something entirely different. But that subtext is your story. So, I think there are probably lots of artists that have passed through the mainstream, and honestly, artists who have passed through, like, the borderlines of punk rock and shit too, that have had, certain religious undertones and definitely a message that was not necessarily on the same plane as everything else that was going on in a given genre at the time,
Hedonism, YOLO. Yeah, I mean, that's also
should have been there on a Sunday morning, banging my hair. I hate that guy.
I mean, that's
no time for warning.
Like looking at any culture's art and artistic expression, and like, it's usually a good indication of where the culture's at that time too. So
yeah,
I don't know. I guess that's where we're at right now. There's a lot of YOLO kind of shit going on.
I think the problem with I don't know if I should do it. Forget it. I think the problem with the religious context in most people's lives is that they're always looking for other, fellow believers to. Hedonism is a sex resort.
I was just looking up it says the pursuit of like pleasure and sensual.
Yeah. But it's also a sex resort, like in the Bahamas.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting that those are the because that almost indicates that people are feeling like the briefness of life, or that like the zeitgeist is feeling like there's going to be some end, or an end of your life, or maybe it's not as hopeful today, and that's why everybody's like YOLO and like,
well, I don't
I'm
think
gonna be dead tomorrow.
I don't think mortality is a question at this point. And,
well, I feel like maybe it's maybe it's more of a symptom of like I don't know.
Well, I think we are a bored generation.
And I think we're also a generation that's used to getting what we want instantly. Or I mean, we're a little bit older, but like people that are growing up today that never lived pre-internet, that never lived without a smartphone, that never was able to order fucking Grubhub and not have to talk to anybody and like all this shit.
I still don't know how that works.
You just like it's just like a website, and you fucking say I want a broccoli pizza, and it just shows up at your door.
But like Matt said, a lot of pop stuff now is straight up satanic. Like, I don't know. I mean, if you actually look at like the core of
I have heard that.
What Satanism actually is, though, I think you would change your mind about what that is, or what that statement really means. Just like most religions of the world have a common core, and almost all of them do, even though they all would rather fight to and kill people to force other people to believe exactly as they believe. Basically, y'all are talking about the same shit. But I think Satanism more preaches, instead of there being a head deity and a lead man in the sky and his whatever, it's all about the individual.
Well, that was like like I know the thing that was weird too. Like I know the satanic thing, and there's like conspiracies. I think Bobby or someone was saying they write from conspiracies now and ideas and things like that.
I love conspiracy theory.
Me too. I was always a big fan of like X-Files and that stuff. And I remember like the 90s, it was all about the skepticism and believers and that kind of stuff. And now like post-internet, it's kind of like if there was fucking aliens, we'd have somebody having a video because we all have a fucking camera in our pocket. If there was ghosts, we'd have like evidence. Like I feel like that mystery is kind of gone, and this is maybe a reflection of that. Or also in terms of like the satanic themes, I thought it was just interesting. They opened the Grammys or something with like Highway to Hell at one point. It was like AC/DC.
I think,
so I mean, like that's always kind of been a like somebody. I think Jeremy said that's always kind of been in music. Like there's always been like Black Sabbath, AC/DC, like these bands from like the 70s, 80s. Like Black Sabbath, like their name is literally.
But Matt, like the
fucking
whether the shit is
reference
satanic or not, or Masonic or whatever, like the issue is not whether it's Masonic or satanic or Christian or Hindu or Buddhist or any of that thing. That the issue really is that people are still in this day and age governed and afraid of words in a book. People are modern day afraid of the perceptions of good and evil, instead of what to actually be good and evil. That's my issue with it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, Coldplay. That's a good point.
Bobby, I don't know that it's not that people are stupid. I think what it is that
James said I'm a Mason and it's not Masonic.
Yeah, I think what most people are really looking for in religion is something to lean on when they need to be propped up for some reason. And the whole like believing in yourself, whether that's a Satanist thing or whatever, like I refuse to lean on the writings in a book. unless it's physics or amp schematics or something.
Yeah, like science.
But
I also think like thinking about this now, there's just a thought that popped in my head. Take it or leave it. Like, I feel like music is a form of it's very powerful. Like look at like John Lennon, and people think he was assassinated, etc. By the government, whatever. Because of the power with music, I think there are these either forces or people that want to attach these satanic themes to make it bad, or to make John Lennon seem like an asshole for saying imagine all the people living as one in peace, because like that completely goes against like keeping us all under some sort of
it's
system.
it's a fucking spell is all it is.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying is like it's for maybe attaching these themes to some of this music is a way of undercutting it, or I don't know.
Could be.
That's just a thought that crossed my mind. I don't know if it's true, but it's like if you want to make something, if you want people to stop following something, stop looking at something, you demonize it. You make it evil. You make it something that's that's wrong. Like that's
but Jeremy said Satan sells just like Jesus. What if you bought neither one? That's where I'm at. Whatever you call that. So,
agnostic, is that it? I think everything's just gray. It's like,
well,
in all of us there exists these choices in morality and ethics and like ideas of doing something good or doing something bad. And
this is what I know about life. If shit is shitty, it's probably that way because I either made it that way or let it get that way. The one who's going to fix it is me. And I'm going to fix it by using the resources that I have. I'm not going to sit around on my knees waiting for the man in the sky to cast a lightning bolt down and fix my woes or take my soul to fucking whatever. I just, and I go through this shit all the time because, my mom is constantly trying to get me on board with the shit that they're into, which is, same thing, Christianity, whatever.
I think a lot of people in our generation question
most
religion.
recently she tried to use like the historical facts and the fact that I like conspiracy theories and things like that as like a backdoor gateway to like try to get me to read this book all about like Jesus. Like, oh, it's so compelling, you should read it. Like,
Is that the shit that's like, what if Jesus was an alien?
A jock runs down to punk in Amarillo, Texas. Brian Deneke. I still have stickers from when his family was fundraising for the civil suit that was filed against that kid after he got off the criminal charges. Yeah, Matt, but that lack of moral compass is... I feel like that comes from like a generation of people who were raised by fucking televisions. Like... You're not learning right and wrong from watching MTV fucking Beach House and like Big Brother After Dark. Like, you learn right and wrong by being corrected by your fucking parents.
Yeah.
Whether that's moral compass or just like proper discipline when you're being brought up or whatever, but I don't know, but
yeah, I think it's
the lack of moral compass modern day is also fed by the fucking the universal greed of people. Yeah. You'll run over anybody to get.
Yeah. Literally, like.
Wait, there's a movie about that?
You said it's on Netflix.
What
Amazon.
The fuck?
Oh shit, we're at 9:36 right now.
Yeah, we better pull it so she can go to bed.
All right, fam.
All right, we ran long.
We talked about some heavy shit.
Yeah,
if you need anybody to talk to, hit Matt up, hit us up, hit anybody up.
I don't know if MTV Beach House still exists. I'm just using that as a point. Like, I know,
explore some of this stuff.
I know kids who I went to school with who were like super shithead little bastards. Like, that's what they were going home and watching. So, do with that as you will. But
yeah. That's yeah.
But anyway,
Thanks.
Email
Trina.
him if you need to. Email me if you need to.
Hit up Jeremy. Hit up Matt.
Yeah. Be good to each other.
Thanks for coming out, Tree Man. Thanks everybody. See you, James.
Hang tight. Do something you want to do every day.
Creedad.
TascFamps are on the way, so if
you... all in all, you're just another TascFamp in the wall.
Bam!
Hey, Eric. Yeah, good night, my friend.
All right.
Yeah, our pleasure, man.
Y'all.
We'll see you guys next time.
Have a great night.
Capro came in.
Damn.